Hills 90210 and Melrose Place are back on their very own channel.
Sure you ready for this?
This is something we are going to remember for the rest of our lives.
Watch Beverly Hills 90210 on Pluto TV.
I'm Steve. They did not learn this in honors English.
Don't you just love the Walshes?
I expect to see each and every one of your smiling faces on that bus.
I guess I'll have a glass of Chardonnay. Unless you're passing out champagne again.
Yeah, the tree's nice.
Turn, I might ask Santa for an A on my legal ethics midterm.
I think that should make you very happy this Christmas. Don't you?
When I got home wondering where I had been.
Look, Jim, it's snowing. A new journal. It's beautiful. Thank you.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Can't beat Christmas at the Walsh house.
Winter, spring, summer, fall, seasons change. We still keep it together.
Hey, Beverly Hills 90210 fans. Are you ready to dive deep, episode by episode, storyline by storyline, character by character, as we break down the making of your favorite zip code with your hosts, Charles Rosen.
Did I say that?
Harry
This
Mullins.
heinous thing about the real person, and we're going, what? We're getting rid of this guy.
Pete Ferrero.
I'm feeling wonderful. Kathleen looks TV crush-worthy.
Like so many special guests. And all your questions. Live on the Beverly Hills 90210 show. Oh, yeah.
Everybody dance now. There we have it. This is super exciting. We are finally here on the Christmas party, the super deluxe Christmas party, right, Larry?
It's super deluxe. It almost turned into a mega show, which is next.
Mega show is definitely coming. The holidays are here. I'm drinking eggnog. What's everybody got around the table here? Oh, wow. Charles Rosen.
First pour here. Jessica, this is
In
like
California, adults have little
four times. Is that how
Good times.
Erin is joining us from today right now. She's in New York, right? Do you have any drink or of any sort?
I don't. I should have prepared something, but
is there white stuff still on the ground? The nor'easter stick, or is it already gone?
It's pretty much gone now.
All right. Hey, Charles, let's get into this. We want to start talking about that first episode. We have a clip.
I want to say one thing first, though.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I did interrupt the script, but I was worried because so much happens. But I just wanted to give a quick overview, okay? Because I thought this was important. Okay. I got to watch season 2 through 7 in order. And it was wonderful because you see the threads pulled through. Namely, Donna's birthday, the first Walsh Christmas tree,
right?
Nat's advice, the Sanders curse, and every show honors the past. And it really made me think that it was Christmas. And I just wanted to say, Merry Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
And that was in honor of Media Melanie's hunts, because I saw these great submissions. I said, I can do that too. Even I can cut things up. I never was good in arts and craft. Anyway, that's it. We're back to the script.
You know, you really got that spirit, and that Yule log, I think, in the back says it all.
I prepared for this show, Chuck. You did the script, but I kind of worked on the set a little bit.
All right, let's play the first clip.
One other thing, Chuck.
Go ahead.
One other thing. And Pete, this is important. I know Chuck will agree. We have global fans who cannot watch live. Right. We have wonderful fans in the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, and Italy, and Israel. Right. And so I'm challenging
and
all
Australia.
And those people can watch. It's Christmas Eve there, like Peter Goldsworth has got Christmas Eve right now, but at least they can watch.
Merry Christmas.
So I'm challenging all of you for us to do a coffee show, a morning show, so they can watch it live.
Ooh,
a global show. Now, what do you think?
I like it.
My Italy.
It'll be a cappuccino special.
That's right. Okay.
Espresso.
Charles, let's show. We have to talk about Chucky's back first because we can't just jump into the Christmas.
Well, I thought this was an interesting thing, and Jessica, you know Chucky's back really well because my favorite Christmas moment was not in any one that was the official designated Christmas episode. It's this moment. We even have another one from Chucky's Back coming up a little later. But I thought this is one of my favorite moments of all of the series because, and we kind of cut in the song a little bit because otherwise we'll be here for 7 hours. But it really is the perfect juxtaposition between story, character, and music. They actually wrote this for us, it seems.
All right, here's the clip, and then somebody special will be. All right. With us, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Ian Ziering. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
The
Happy
spirit
holidays.
of 90210 Christmas. There he is, man. How are you, Ian?
I'm very well. Very nice to see all of you.
Beautiful to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
And, you know, we got a little Jersey love and blood in the house, right? I mean, we both share this in common. So
I was born in Teaneck.
Oh, there you go. Ian, you're looking back on that clip from Chucky's Back. Like Chuck said, or like Charles said, this is a really important moment for you. I think for Steve, for the show, for Christmas. What are you thinking when you look back and see that?
Oh my gosh! You know that clip basically is a razor sharp slice of all the emotions. It's kind of hard to elaborate on what I was feeling. Just looking at that, it takes me back, and that was the original music, was it not?
That is, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Ian, we only do acknowledge the original music here, and 2021 is when we're stepping up. We're making companies acknowledge what they did to us.
You know, I have the entire series on a hard drive with the actual music.
Yeah, it's such a difference. It's very unfair to our fans not to get it the way we intended.
But it's very touching. You know, that was an episode where you know that was a front burner storyline, and it was, you know, I just had a tremendous amount of heart, and it still continues to resonate. You know, I haven't seen it probably since I didn't watch the series when we were on because I was busy working.
Exactly.
You know, for years after, when it was in syndication, I would see episodes every once in a while, and it would be new to me, you know, for years after the show was on. I don't remember seeing this specific episode ever. So,
oh well, didn't you
really turned out great?
How did the origins? Did you initiate it, Ian? Did you go to Jessica? You guys were always talking, you and Steve, or how did it? How do we get to this? You know, also is one of our first really two-parters. I mean, it was, you know, we carried it over. Darren starred. Jess and Steve wrote the first part, and Darren Starr wrote the Walsh Family Christmas.
what year was this?
91.
91.
I think it was in season 2.
Yes. Chuck, I think I came to you saying that I wasn't really happy with Steve. I mean, he's such a prick. He's spoiled. Nobody knows why. And I kind of felt that there was nothing.
Well, let me just say about my you every time that you did, you know, we gave you the opportunity, you said give me the opportunity to do something that is more out of the realm of Steve Party Sanders. It was always phenomenal. And this story idea I was really open to. I mentioned to Pete and Larry that I did a TV movie about an adoption in which the birth mother changed her mind and the adoption got set aside after months. It was with It was with Nancy McKeon and Lindsay Wagner, and it actually won an award, a Women in Film Award for it, right up there. But it was about this, really a lot of emotion. So when you broached it, or when we figured, I knew, and some of the scenes that you have with Christina are just so touching, both the conflictual scenes, and then after you come to terms with, well, what really is a mother, which is what all adoptive kids always have to grapple with.
Yeah,
it's their situation.
Yeah.
What I was saying is that there was never really anything in the early parts of the episode. There was nothing really very redeeming about Steve, and I didn't find I didn't like him myself. It was kind of hard to always play the rich, obnoxious, brash, pompous, rich kid. It was just.
Well, it was. I'll say to this: two things.
Let me finish, Chuck.
Well, sorry, buddy.
And when I brought that up to you, I didn't even know what you had in mind, but I asked you to find, isn't there something we could do to find something redeeming about this guy? Why is he like that? And it wasn't, I don't think it was too long after that all of a sudden we introduced the fact that he was adopted. I was like, oh, wow, there's a nice twist of that I didn't see coming, in the first, not until we ended the first season. Like, I didn't even know. Did you guys know that with the arc that you were going to set him on?
No, are they talking? You initiated. You definitely initiated, and as I say, I was open to it. And the other thing is that you, but I want to say the one thing about the character of Steve Sanders, and this is from somebody who lived north of Sunset. Steve Sanders was like the person talking. Was a north of Sunset homeboy. And everybody who's from Beverly Hills in my generation absolutely recognizes the character of Steve Sanders. And he just was, and Steve, Ian, you make that come alive, I think, as much, if not more, than any other of our characters in the ensemble in the Beverly Hills years. The others were learning what Beverly Hills was. You innately, it was, what's Beverly Hills? It's a short hill. So it's not that much different,
Right.
And you just carried, but this was so much. And then of course, what Jessica and Steve wrote, also the moments, he was one of your finest guy, I think.
Two important people to mention in this is Jed Allen, right? And how about this person?
Hi, gorgeous.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
So nice to see you. How are you, Tina?
It's wonderful to see you too.
Oh, as beautiful as ever.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Very kind of you. I just watched the two shows, and there was so much I forgot, which I'm sure is just time and age, but I understood a lot of things, I think, that I didn't get then myself. When you're in it, you don't necessarily get the same perspective as look at this, 25 years later?
Right. Which specifically?
Chucky's back, and the next episode, which is the Walsh family Christmas, when you are in Albuquerque, when Steve is in Albuquerque. But what Pete was just saying, you brought that Beverly Hills thing without ever acting it, which is,
thank you,
which is saying a lot, because he was just that different from everybody else.
Well, you brought it also. You brought the star quality of Samantha Sanders, the mother, in case anyone didn't know, the mother of Steve Sanders, of course.
I love this.
Well, Darren wanted Mary Tyler Moore, and you projected that regal element. Yes, you did.
Steve, Ian, when you went back and shot all that stuff, the New Mexico stuff, what was that like for you to go through that? I mean, man, when I watch some of these scenes, even to this day, I'm so gripped by what you're doing in that diner with Karen Brown's grandfather and all that stuff. What do you remember about shooting that stuff?
That I miss my buddies.
You were on your own.
That was like the first time I was without everybody, without the cast.
Yeah.
This was like I was on an island there. It was like shooting a different show.
Were you was that in the Apple Valley? Was that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
We went out to that airport or wherever it was.
Right, Palmdale. Yeah.
Just in the middle of nowhere. It was dark. I think it was around this time of year that we shot it, or it's just when it started getting. It was weird. I remember most vividly that where's Jay, where's Luke, we're the girls. What's going on here? We had the makeup trailer, we had the wardrobe, and it was a Fiesta del Uno.
Well, they were waiting for you in the Walsh family living room. Clearly,
Right.
you guys show up there. You make it there, both of you, actually.
Yes.
But the work is phenomenal. Ian, when you worked with Christina, what was that like?
Christina came with such a fine pedigree, has done some amazing work. I was actually excited to work with her. I felt that having a chance to work with Christina would elevate my work, and it did.
It did.
So, I thought, what? She was perfectly cast. We had a certain sameness, a similar look. She did have that regal air about her. She was Christina, a joy to work with. She and Jed both. I love those days because, they brought a more seasoned sensibility to the work, and they would bust chops and have fun, and it was nice. It was nice. I never really looked at her like my mom. She was just always friendly. I mean, in front of the camera, yes, of course, but just fantastic working with Christina all the time, every time. I wish we always had more scenes together.
Yeah. How about you, Christina, working with Ian? Before you answer that, let me show you. This is you guys here in Walsh Family Christmas. Here's a clip.
And then keep right on doing it.
Steve,
Mom, where have you been?
where have I been?
I've been waiting an hour for you to come home. You don't know what it took for me to get here, and I don't think you're going to be too happy when you find out how much it cost.
Oh, hush up and hug me.
I'm sorry, Mom.
I know. But you're here now.
I had to do it. I had to find out who my real mom was.
And was she everything you expected?
Everything and more.
I see.
Let me tell you about her. She's beautiful. And she's caring. And she created me out of her love. 17 years of it. With her busy life, she always made sure I was as happy as I could be. She always tried to show me to do the right thing. She was always there for me when I didn't. Gave me everything I ever wanted, probably more than I deserved. And no matter what, she always let me know how much she loved me. I'm sorry I had to go so far away to find you, Mom.
Oh, gorgeous. I'm just so glad you're back.
Really beautiful stuff. I mean, I'm getting choked up here just watching it. We love Christine here.
Yeah, Christine got so moved. She
It's called felling, hard felling.
Come back, Christine. I was wanted to say about Christine and Diane, and this is a different one. Pete should send this to you. We a couple of weeks ago was Thanksgiving, and we were doing the Thanksgiving episode. And if you remember, in season 3, you guys go up and the thing, you get lucky in the night. You're having trouble in school, and Christina comes in. Welcome back. Christina comes in. I'm talking about a Thanksgiving episode you did. The next season, in which you defend your son with Denise Dowse, who plays the principal at West Beverly High. And it's like, yes, this is a foreshadowing of how you're going to take care of your son in this Christmas moment here. But there's just a beautiful scene we just saw. Christina.
Yeah, and my screen got the big red X on it, and I lost everything.
That's okay. We were just watching the scene that you got, and you had just seen the episode. We were just watching the scene that the two of you did together. Do you have memories of doing that with Ian or working with Ian in general?
Well, yeah, he was the first adult I was the mother of. Which was, I mean, in the sense that I had been Ricky Schroeder's mother. He was 12.
Right.
I had played mothers of, and this was so different. And I fell in love with Ian. I just thought he was so wonderfully available and present and excited to be doing what we were doing. And I was surprised when I watched it, how very emotional these scenes that, you know, the scene before you left, the scenes in the Chucky show. And there's just, I think we just always had a really good innate connection, because I just thought he was adorable, and everybody likes people to feel that. And I think he knew that I just really loved working with him. And I think that we had a lot of emotional availability that we built up over the various shows. So I had a great time doing that show. I never worked really with anybody else. I only worked with Steve, so I didn't know any of the other people very well.
That's true. Ian, I just think the world of your work. I want to give Larry an opportunity here, because Larry, you guys did some stuff in season 6 with this storyline. You paid this storyline.
Yeah, with Ian. Yeah, you know, we took the threads of what you guys at Jess and Steve and Chuck had created, and there was a big hole there. There was no who his real father was. And we said, okay, this, you know, we got a Christmas show coming up, you know, and that's the one thing about all the Christmas shows. They're really about family, really family being challenged, family, and then the magic of Christmas taking over. And, you know, and Rush, of course, you know, being a kind of a player, we could create a backstory, which we created, was he was on a film shoot on his way to Santa Fe, and it probably was a storm. And a girl told him she was 19, and he knocked her up. She had a baby, and now he goes back a year later, because Samantha can't have a baby, and he basically, as he says to Steve, he buys his own baby. And this comes in an episode where Steve has kind of screwed up, he thinks, and and Steve did not screw up, but of course Russ goes to the screw up card right away, and it winds up being the big reveal. And it's a lovely moment. And Jed Allen was a fantastic actor. I don't know how you guys cast him. He looked just like Ian. It's so amazing. That you totally believe. I mean, when he finally says it, you go, well, yeah, of course, they look exactly alike. Chuck, tell that story.
Casting of Rush was because he looked and sounded exactly like Timmy Dietrich's father, who I played baseball with, and all the dads would come and watch the Pony League baseball players, and the guys who had the pipe and was like, oh, and talked this and had the bourbon. He was that guy. He was Beverly Hills, the steak and the scotch kind of guy.
Because Jed looked so much like Ian, that after having established that Steve's character was adopted, we were able to then turn around and say Jed was his real dad because he looked so much like him. It was a whole story, casting determining story almost.
It was great. The other thing I wanted to ask Christina was, because in season 7, we also, we knew we had an opportunity because we had her husband working. We figured we had both of them working, but what if we put them together? And we did, as a kind of in a Christmas show where they kind of wound up singing this duet in the house, and we used their relationship to screw up Steve and Claire's relationship. It was like great, where you're having fights about other people's relationship. There's nothing worse than that, and we do that to them, and it really works great. And how was that working with your husband?
Well, it was fabulous. We have worked together before, but not having a romantic situation. So that was so much fun because we were so head over heels in love that this was easy. And you're going to pay us for this? Okay.
All right. Before Ian goes, a couple of quick things. Do you remember when they said that your dad is going to be Rush, and what were your thoughts on that? You're muted right now. Just to there you go. Yeah.
I don't, the casting was never really something that they concerned me with. It was just this actor showing up, and I was completely fine with that. You leave specialties to the specialists, and the powers that be, you guys out there did a great job with the casting. But once he showed up on set, my God, we were like, it was so great because you'd have this bravado about him, and I would do the same thing.
He was such an ass.
I love it.
this
If
air.
we're asking about everybody, what's it like to play with this person, Here, I've known Ian for all these years. I never asked him this question. What was it like to play with Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds, it's so funny. I've seen the picture of us at the golf course. It was me and Jed and Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds.
And Bobby Bonds, yeah.
No, not Bobby.
After that, became so physically huge. But in that picture, he's not much bigger than me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Amazing steroids.
He was, he was a bit pompous. But his baseball skills were writing the checks that his mouth was cashing the checks that his mouth was writing. So, I mean, I was pretty psyched. We worked with some amazing people, some amazing athletes. I mean, the Barry Bonds and who was the football player?
Howie Long. We have Steve Young.
Howie Long.
That's right. All right, listen, we're going to move the show along, Ian. Thank you so much for spending some holiday time with us.
Great to see you.
Your family.
So nice to see you all.
Before you leave, what's on tap for the menu? Is there anything interesting? What happened with the turkey? I heard there was an incident with a turkey.
Dude, I tried to make on Thanksgiving. I tried to make a fried turkey. Okay, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's delicious, delicious." So I set the turkey 300 degrees in the oil. It's all set. I have it ready to go. Drop the turkey in there. The temperature drops. So I freak out. I turn up the fire and it gets too hot. I burn that turkey. So it's here. So here what's even more funny. I had another turkey breast to make a turkey roast tonight.
That's it.
And I go downstairs an hour ago and one of my kids turned off the oven. I can't make the goddamn turkey.
I love it, man.
Brutal.
Oh my God.
Not meant to be.
So nice to see you all. Christina, so nice to see you.
Wonderful
Chuck,
to see
Larry.
you. Thank you.
Ryan, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh
Thank
my
you,
God,
Ryan.
all of you.
And look, you got
my
another
legacy
friend
shirt on right now. My legacy shirt.
Hi.
Because I sleep with that.
Congratulations.
Bye, everybody. Bye, everyone.
Great to see you, Ian. Thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. Much love. All right. Bye-bye. And we're also going to say goodbye to Christina. But before we do, how about saying hello to some other family members here, Carol Potter and James Eckhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Christina.
The Walsh.
Hi. How are you?
See you, Christina.
How lovely.
The adults are here.
The adults are here.
Christmas is always about the
Well,
parents.
two adults and a sort of adult. I always thought
James.
Samantha was kind of like an adult.
That's right.
Yeah, true enough. True enough.
Erin, I'm sorry, I did not get you to ask a question to Ian. I apologize. There was so much going on.
You got a question for these guys?
Any one of them? Do you have a question for Christina, maybe?
I guess for everyone, where does Walsh Family Christmas rank among your all-time favorite episodes?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Wow, there's a question.
No idea. I mean, hundreds of episodes.
I always thought it would be a great episode for a drinking game. In fact, it's a phenomenal episode for a drinking game. Because how many effing times can you say Christmas in one episode? The relationship between Jews and Christmas is inexplicable. And whether it's Irving Berlin or Darren Star, you're there, and or Charles Rosen or Jessica Klein for that matter, that thing,
or Larry Mullen.
Well, yeah, but I don't know.
Well, Chuck, we're talking about Christmas. Are we talking about the Walsh Family Christmas show? Because I have one complaint.
Oh boy.
I felt it felt. Why did he have to kill Mrs. Claus? I mean, it seemed so presumptuous to kill a whole mythical character without getting permission. It just seemed wrong. Anyway, it didn't seem necessary. But anyway, that's fine. I got it off my chest. That's all.
All right, there you go. We're going to say goodbye to Christina. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy
Please give our best to Nicholas as well. We
will.
Love you here so much. Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So much. All right. Bye-bye. Thanks. We're also going to say goodbye to Erin. And
Erin, thanks for coming. Thanks for being so
much for
a
beautiful article in today. That was really sweet. We really appreciate it.
And the fact that we became on number 5 will mean something to me for time immemorial. So thank you.
We were relevant for at least a couple seconds.
At least the 1 news cycle, yes.
For the 1 news cycle, we were relevant. That's right.
I had so much fun rewatching
Facebook cycle.
all the
Wait,
Christmas
hold on. Go ahead, Aaron.
What was that?
I said I had so much fun rewatching all the Christmas episodes and was so happy to have an excuse to do it. And I just love that even though, of course you have these sort of whimsical, Christmas elements like the sweet and sentimental stuff like the Santa character in season 2 and the Guardian Angels and It's a Totally Happening Life. There's so many pivotal moments in these episodes. And so I love, such as, of course, Steve's discovery about his birth mother and the first appearance of Suzanne and Erica later on. And I just love that combination that there's some whimsy, but there's still really essential episodes that, move those story arcs along. So
thank you so much.
Really good way to revisit.
Thank you for that.
All right. Thank you so much. We love you here. We'll see you again soon, I'm sure, in 2021. Okay.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye-bye. Okay, now we're going to bring in Perry. There's a lot of moving. Our friend Perry.
Hi.
Perry.
Hi, Perry.
Hey, guys.
I don't know if you know James or Carol.
Hello.
Hi, Perry.
What Perry does is she is a fashion maven and among other things, writes about shows, and has kind of been looking at our show through that prism. Because the one thing that happens even before you get to the Walsh family Christmas inside and everything with the family, and of course Cindy's so positive feelings about being in Los Angeles over first Christmas, but is that Brenda gets a job at a boutique, and it's a pretty hip boutique. Leave it to Darren Starr, my partner during this season for sure, to make sure that we got to go into the hippest, hottest store in Los Angeles to film our Christmas episode and the one that followed, which is Tracy Ross. Terry, did you know that? Did you know that store, of that retail store? Did that get back to the East Coast, or was that completely an LA thing?
That was completely LA.
All right.
It's where celebrities to go.
Guess what? We have the shop owner with us. That's right. Rebecca Staub, who was Deidra in that episode, and let's see. This is where she throws Santa Claus out of the store. Let's watch this clip real quick.
So over here is our entire skincare line. Now the kits come pre-wrapped. The customers like it that way. Oh, and you remember what I told you about filling out the invoices?
I think so.
I always add everything up on the calculator first, just to make sure the figures match.
Okay.
Don't worry, you'll do fine.
Can't fool Santa.
I thought I asked you to stay out of here.
We were just having some fun.
The young ladies are in need of some Christmas cheer.
Oh, well, I'm sure you know just how to give it to them. Listen, why don't you take your big white beard and your little red suit right across the street and cheer up the security guards over at Tiffany's,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Creep.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Rebecca, what do you remember about doing that?
Just, it was, funny and sad. I don't think it's ever been done. I mean, who does that?
Kicks Santa out.
It's funny because, this character was created to be such a, just such an ice queen. And so it was one of those things where the action spoke louder than words, that you just go, that just kind of cemented the character to go, who would do that? Who would?
Well, it is from being a child of Beverly Hills and knowing that the ethos and image of Beverly Hills, it was basically the store and general managers on Rodale Drive. That's who kept that alive, the snobbery, this long after it was really starting to fade away. So I think that you coming a little later on that, I think you really represented what Rodale Drive felt like if you weren't, and I don't mean Rodale Drive for the Gucci and the tours, I mean the high-end hot retail in Beverly Hills felt like if you weren't anointed and made it really clear that you had your gold card was good.
Yeah.
Notice that I say gold card and not platinum because there was no platinum card.
How about that?
Rebecca, before we say goodbye, I mean, working.
Wait, don't you have that scene with those two?
Yes, I'm going to show that. That's where I was going. Yes, but working on this show must have been a nice opportunity at that time. What was it like to work on 90210? I want to ask you.
It was nice because actually I got to do 2 episodes. I did the Fire and Ice afterwards, and so that's always nice because it gave it. I watched the show. I mean, it's that thing where sometimes you forget that you're the actor because it was a show that I watched and that
we didn't know that.
And so to be on it, it's like one thing to be on it as an actor and one thing to be on it as a fan and one thing to be on it as a piece of history. Like, it was so funny because even then, like, it was so different. Like, you go, oh, this is an institution in the making that you just knew that, it was really something.
Yeah.
Work on that show. And, I just always liked bitch. So, it was a perfect character. And it's that whole, kill him with kindness. She always had a smile. And then, I was stealing Brenda's commissions, which is horrible. That whole thing. It's like, I've got, a house payment to make, and that's just the way it's going to be. And
there was a recession going on in LA. You had to do what you had to do.
Now, Carol, you have a great scene with Rebecca. I mean, and you guys played this a couple of times. On the particular, I remember in the season 4.
And you played it in Fire and Ice, but one of the things why it's kosher here for Christmas is because you talk about it on the airplane in season 4, right? And that's
Somewhere in the World of Christmas.
All right.
Somewhere in the world.
The clip show.
Yes, it's just feeling a little bit like the clip show. Here you go.
I like this.
I think your mother's finally learning to enjoy the good life.
I've always been able to enjoy the good life. I just never felt comfortable in the role of a Beverly Hills society matron.
Ed said that time that you came to the boutique dressed up like Zsa Zsa Gabor.
And I'm wondering if I need all those blouses.
I don't know. You just have such good taste. Why don't you just leave over there whatever you don't want, and I'll have the girl put them away for you.
And I really don't need the scarves. Or the shoes.
You don't?
No, I don't. No scarves, no shoes, no $100 wrinkle creams. And I really don't need you telling me how much you love my good taste, or how happy this will make me, or how great I'll look, or how much I deserve this, or how much I deserve that. And most of all, I really don't need you kissing my butt to pad your commission while you treat your employees badly.
Ooh. Carol Potter, love it. Any memories on that, Carol?
Oh God, yes, it was so much fun. Cindy didn't get to glam up very often, so
that's right,
that was
exactly.
really, really fun. But of course, the coup de grace at the end is I hand her the ticket, the parking ticket that I got. But of course, that ticket is going to come back to me. You're not going to have to pay that ticket. So, anyway, it was a lot of fun. It's something I would never do in real life. So it was fun to do it. But, you do this for your children. You do things for your children you would never do for yourself.
That's right.
For sure.
Perry, what about the outfit she was wearing and the stuff that was hanging on the racks in Tracy Ross? Did they make an impression?
They did. I mean, well, first of all, I personally was like sort of coming off my own Pretty Woman high. Like, I was obsessed with that movie the year before. And that scene on Rodeo Drive in that movie where the shopkeepers were total bitches to Julia Roberts, I got vibes of that here, which I sort of loved because that was a famous scene. That just made an impression on me from Pretty Woman. So I remember just being delighted that there was another sort of bitchy storekeeper in Deidra. But rewatching it, the outfits were ridiculous. They were amazing. I mean, Deidra's like buttoned up black and white outfit was incredible. And Brenda's vest. I mean, I love a vest. When I was on a while back with Christine Elise, I was talking about her vests, but I'm eager to dabble in the vest. But Brenda's vest look was really nice. It was sort of holiday-ish. I loved how the outfits were holiday-ish, but appropriate for California, because I think if that scene took place on the East Coast, everybody would be in big sweaters and big wool coats and big scarves, fur hats. And I loved how it still felt sort of wintry, which was a departure from the outfits that I'd normally seen on the show, because even when it was winter, nobody really dressed like it. They always sort of wore summery stuff. So I thought the clothes were perfect. I'd wear a lot of those things now, honestly.
We can't do an episode without getting this question. Ask her about Shannon, Pete. That's very, very loud. I assume that is about for Rebecca,
ask
not
her.
Terry.
Is that Rebecca? Jessica?
I'm sure it's
oh,
Rebecca.
No,
Yeah.
Rebecca. Yeah, she worked with Shannon, so you
Well,
start.
tell me about Shannon, since there was all that exclamation points.
Of course, in this show, she's Brenda.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I mean, I thought that Deidra was kind of brought on as a kind of an excuse for, because didn't it come on later episodes when Brenda starts acting kind of uppity and snobby and stuff, that the other girls are like, "Oh, you're acting just like Deidra." I thought that there was a line.
That is referenced somewhere. Yes, I think that is referenced.
Yeah, and so it was, it was also a, like a plot point. It was a vehicle for kind of, laying an attitude down that, then if Brenda emulated, it's like, oh, that's where she got it. What I do, I mean, it was funny because I would think in TV land, being that it was Christmas, we would have shot this so much earlier, maybe in August or something, but I know it had to be close to Christmas because in the trailer, it was always talks about what everybody was buying everybody else for Christmas. And so if you ask about Shannon, there was like this big conversation that she was always having about what she was, getting her boyfriend and that kind of stuff. And so I remember, like, we had to actually be shooting it relatively close to the holidays, that it wasn't that big of a lead time.
Yeah.
No, turned over pictures pretty quickly then.
Yeah, well, we did. We had, especially when we had a show. This was a 2 hour and 90 minute. I think it was actually a 2 hour.
I thought it was 90, Chuck.
Was it 90?
It was like over 60 minutes of running time, which meant that it would have been about 30 minutes of commercial or 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. It's a 90-minute. The only one. It's like a little movie.
So we conceivably, even if it's not credited as such, we probably had 2 editors cutting this.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We're going to say goodbye to Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. And Rebecca, I was really happy when I went to do my first due diligence to find you, how much work you've done all these years. And congratulations on that.
I've been grateful. Yeah, I've been busy, still am. So
yeah, I saw that. Good for you.
All right. Thank you for that.
Where'd James go? Is he coming back?
No,
James
left and said, thank you for everything.
We didn't get to our questions.
I know we had some good James questions. Okay. So Rebecca, we're going to say goodbye.
Call me anytime.
We will, definitely.
All right.
Before you leave, Carol, and I was going to say this to James, obviously, I think we all associate the holiday time with this episode, one of the episodes anyway, and the Walshes and whatnot. What are the holidays like for you, Carol Potter? Because I know, as somebody who's not going home for Christmas this year, seeing you and being here with you makes me feel at home. So what is it like for you?
Well, that's very sweet. I mean, what it's like for me this year is I'm not doing much of anything, but when I was doing the show, we gave each other ornaments every year for Christmas. We had a big, beautiful Christmas tree in the living room. I decorate the house with like holly berries. It's not really holly. It's a West Coast version, but I have a couple in my yard. And I put pine cones all over the place. And we have stockings on the, my son he's got like 2 stockings with his name on them. I've got 1 stocking. My husband had like 3 stockings with his name on them. So we did a pretty big deal. We didn't necessarily do a big food thing for Christmas. I remember lasagna.
Nice.
Christmas Eve.
That sounds good.
But we really did get into, I love the tree and, putting on the light. We always used little tiny white lights. And my husband taught me how to trim the tree. So you get a very, very full tree and you trim it so that it's in layers. So you can actually hang ornaments like right next to the trunk and all the way out. So you can look into the tree and there are little surprises. I mean, I have so many ornaments upstairs. I can't even put them all on one tree.
That's amazing. Such an incredible moment. You watched back this episode, Walsh Family Christmas, and Cindy wants this white Christmas and all that, right? What are your thoughts looking back on that?
Well, I have to say that Cindy's sentiments echo my own, and I've been living here since 1981. I still can't believe we can have hot weather at Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, and we almost never had a white Christmas, which is different from Minnesota.
For sure.
But I do find this warm weather this time of year very anti-Christmas. It's just wrong.
Right.
See, as a local boy, Carol, growing up here, Christmas means really great sunsets.
There you go.
And that has
right,
been
right in front of you, right in front of you.
Because it's right in front. It's this, and it's one of the only times of the year that the pink in the sky isn't there because of the pollutants. It's actually there because of the level of the air.
Because we've had rain.
The air is a little, and it used to, the other thing about Christmas in LA, of course, it used to rain.
It used to rain.
Yeah, but that was my Christmas memories. We'll go through them a little later. They're all about before climate change.
All right, so we're gonna shift the show a little bit, but before Carol leaves, I want to share this with you. Melanie, who was backstage, I don't see her anymore, is doing this hunts thing, and they send reenactments in, and somebody sent us this. This is when you returned
season 6.
This is the reenactment that they made.
Brandon, are you up?
It's the return from Hong Kong where your marriage is in jeopardy.
I remember one of the notes that I got from the director was, okay, you're looking around and seeing the changes that they've made, and you like them.
The director was Jason Teasly. It was Jason.
I walked in and I'm going, what the hell did they do to my house? A more realistic response.
You like them.
All right.
Lovely
Done with the house.
Well, Carol, thank you for joining us. Hope you had a really great holiday.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Good to see you.
Merry Christmas, guys. I
All
hope
right.
maybe sometime next year we'll actually be able
Yeah,
to.
I know. It's looking good.
That would be good.
For V-Day.
That's it.
We don't see you in your show up in Greystone. I'll get to see you next year.
I know. Well, hopefully we will be back doing it next year. Who knows?
All right, so we're gonna say goodbye to Carol and Perry. And bye, Perry. It's always wonderful to see you. Always look amazing. Great to see you. Okay.
No stop. Good to see you guys.
Yep.
Thank you for being here.
All right. And now we are going to add on Karen Rosen. And we are going to add on
good. Very festive.
Hi, yes.
Hello.
Okay. Whew.
Two Jessicas in one place.
I know.
All right. Why do we
have to refresh?
It's an honor. I'm not worthy of being on a panel with this Jessica.
You did a great job in the Stissel panel, by the way.
Oh, thank you. They were something.
I want to ask, before we get into all of this, I want to ask Jessica Shaw. You looked at, I'm sure you've seen this episode.
Only 7,000 times. I mean, 7,001 because I watched it today again because, of course, I did.
We're talking about It's a Total Happening. It's a Totally Happening Life. Excuse me. And
season three
from season 3, which is significant to Charles and Karen, because they wrote this together. And there's a special person in this episode that we never get to see.
Are we going to see it? Come on, Bobby.
Hopefully.
Bobby, can you make it, dude? Or we're going to have to talk about
Do it, Bobby. Hey, there you are. Hey, look at him. Hey.
There he is.
Yes, Bob.
Bobby, he's frozen or what? I think.
No.
He's really good if he's not frozen. He's really he's very good actor.
Why don't we show some of the star stuff from the episode, and Melanie will work her magic, and maybe it'll get fixed.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull that. It's good. Bobby, for those that don't know, Bobby Costanzo is the person that does all the cool stuff in It's a Totally Happening Life, all the narrations and the voiceovers.
He plays Clarence.
That's right. He
Clarence,
plays
the
Clarence.
angel.
Yes.
Can you?
Okay, we can't hear him. I'm going to remove him and hope that this is one of those clips. That is not the clip.
Nope.
You know, when I
That is not the clip. Nope. I don't think he sent it to me.
No, excuse me, but you don't know the real danger. Their bus is on a collision course with a truck.
I fixed that already. I got that truck rerouted.
But I didn't even tell you about it yet.
I took the liberty of skipping ahead a few pages.
But how did you fix it?
It wasn't easy. It's a complicated move, and you can only use it one time per catastrophe. Craig Clemens is on the 405 to Long Beach as we speak.
Craig Clemens? Who cares about Craig Clemens? Greg Clemens is the guy driving that other truck.
Which other truck?
That other truck.
Hey, this truck's going the wrong way on a one-way street. Hey, you're going the wrong way! You're going the wrong way!
How did you do that?
I didn't.
You mean it was...
A higher power.
Wow.
Thank you. That was great stuff. We lost Bobby. He's trying to figure it all out. But let me ask Charles and Karen. We did a little bit of a watch along on this. Writing, talk to everybody who's watching about writing this, putting this together. It was a dream, right?
Yeah, it really was. You know, I taught at UCLA for a little bit in the writers program, and I used to tell my students if they had a problem with the script, go to sleep. Let your subconscious take over. And Jess, I don't know if you remember, but that's what I did with this one. I remember.
When I rewatched this, I just want to interrupt you for 1 minute and congratulate both you and your wife. It's a beautiful episode. It was great to rewatch it.
Thank you.
I really
enjoyed it too.
Appreciate it, guys. Well, we were late on. We're always late on holiday episodes because, truthfully, you know, Darren liked doing his Mr. Walsh because he could direct that episode. But otherwise, it was like a Christmas. We got to get through the Christmas thing to get to other. So it fell on me. Okay, you got to do it now. And we had nothing. We were pretty close to our time. We got to do this, and I was sleeping in the girls' room. They slept together, and I woke up and I said, you know, and at that time, It's a Wonderful Life was in the public domain. The copyright had elapsed, and it was on TV in Los Angeles, and I bet New York every 15 minutes at this time because they could run it for free. And so it was all, and also one of my favorite movies of all time, my favorite Frank Capra movie for sure. And so I wake up in the dream. I think, well, what if we had talking stars? There'd be an accident, and we could do things like that. And I came to Jessica and Steve, and Steven, you know, used to be very mild-mannered, and he just went, I love this, you know, and we were off to the races, Karen and I doing it. You know, I think it was one of our field collaborations where, here's the story, Karen, now we'll put some dialogue together. And, oh, you know, do you remember it that way? Pretty much me structure you dialogue, Karen, or how do you?
Well, this particular episode is very expositional and brings all the stories up to date with flashbacks to things that hadn't happened yet, that we hadn't filmed before, you know, some of those. So that's where we had to sort of go the forward, backward, forward. That was all Chuck, I'm pretty sure, very sure. And yeah, and then it was once we got there, now what do we do with the characters? I think that was my
there's so many mind-blowing moments in this episode too, like Brandon and Andrea kiss, and I mean there are things that are like, oh my god, these are game changers all wrapped in already a high concept situation.
Yeah, it was. And you know, we sort of thought this was one where some fans weren't so cool on it because it really wasn't I don't know, it was a high concept. It still had, the storylines of the people.
Right. Well, we always.
You could watch this one without really knowing what was going on because there's a lot of recapping. So it does kind of bring you up to speed with all the characters. So that was.
And we loved it. We did it. Our inner circle loved it, in the show. So we're fine. And just, I don't know if you remember, at right before we went away, right before we got into commencement, Kieran and I went down to Jamaica just to have a little bit of time to ourselves and finally get a little bit of a passes for a vacation and a 90210 schedule. And we run into someone, nice, looking tourist, and who basically says to us, she's a fan of the show, and we're really happy. He says, "Oh yeah, I really like the interaction, the characters, the triangle. Maybe you don't do those dumb talking star episodes." that was our first public exposure.
But we've since heard other people who really, really enjoy it. So.
Yeah, but we're down a peg now.
I did have a question about the talking stars. I feel like Clarence and Miriam sound a little like, and I appreciate this as a Jewish lady from New York, they sound like they're like from the Lower East Side.
It's Bobby Costanzo with an O.
That's
and
right.
Bobby Costanzo, I want to predict this. Bobby, you're not here. I can't ask you. I don't think you got a bar mitzvah, did you?
No.
I don't think so.
Nero.
A Nero. And the other one, she's so sweet. Pete, you couldn't find her, right? To come back?
No, I could not find her. I tried to find her, but we also can't find Bobby. So there's.
Bobby,
Chuck, did you oversee the recording of Bobby and the other angel? Were you there for the ADR, so to speak, or?
I was.
Great. Yeah, it made a difference.
Before we get to our next guest, I want to bring on Melanie, who has been doing the hunts. We have to get to some show stuff. We have a hunts thing, and she needs to announce the winners of this hunt thing, and then we're going to start. And Denise Dowse is going to be us. We have a whole bunch of things we're trying to get to. So here's Melanie.
Hey guys.
Order, didn't he? He did. I know.
Yes. Little out of order. We're trying to troubleshoot some Bobby stuff, and I don't know if it's going to work, but we tried our best. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so Melanie, you have at this point now to have to announce the winners of the hunts that have been going on. We saw a beautiful sample. That's not in the running, though. I just showed something that's not even up for anything.
Right. Do you have the one with Caitlin jumping out of the box, though? That is a good one. We could do that as a...
Okay. Do I have the one of Caitlin jumping out of the box? Yes.
What is in this present I have?
Dashing through the smog in a one-door open Porsche. To the Walsh's house we go. Cackling like we're Steve. Ho, ho, ho.
All right.
Yeah, we really liked that. She won the funniest. So awesome job. All right, we're just going to get right into this. We're going to start with our third place prize winner. I've got all the names in a hat right here. We're going to move through quick. If we draw duplicates, we're just going to draw again. So our third prize winner is Maya Rebecca, who was also our first finisher. Congratulations, Maya. Great job. We loved all your submissions.
Okay.
All right, we're on to second place. Moving along, mixing the names up. We have Erica 1128, who wins our second prize. She did that snowblower video. Love it, Erica. Congratulations.
Okay.
And
wonderful.
Our first place winner coming out of the big purple stocking here. This is for a $300 gift card of choice. Beverly Thrills 90210, and that's Caitlin who jumped out of the box. So congratulations. She nailed it, and now she's first.
All right. What season was that from? When was that scene? 6 or 7, guys?
She just did that as a reenactment, and she made up an original 90210 Christmas.
Oh, definitely first prize. Just make it all up.
All right, Melanie.
That's what we did.
Melanie says that she has a surprise for me. I can't even imagine what that is. We will see you. We will see you back here a little bit later on. But guess what? Look at this. We're moving things in and out. It's a party. It's a super deluxe party.
Deluxe.
Oh man, it is super deluxe. So,
and look who made it here.
Elise.
We love her so much. So
hi, Christine.
Hey, kids.
Oh,
hey,
hi. Oh, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Hey, I want to play this clip real quick.
Wow.
It's great. I love that. I want to play this clip before you jump into this, Christine. This is when Brandon came to visit Emily at the hospital. So here is that.
From Walsh family.
Look, I just want to say I'm sorry for all of this stuff.
Emily, I didn't come here for that.
This place has been really good for me. Some people have a lot of stuff going on in their heads they spend their whole lives not dealing with. I'm gonna know myself really well by the time I leave this place.
When's that gonna be?
Soon. I may actually even go home tomorrow for Christmas dinner. It's going back to school. It's gonna be the real challenge. Maybe Andrea can write an article, Nutcase Returns to West Beverly.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Now, Charles, you had something you wanted to say about Christine's performance here, yes?
A lot of things, Christine. I think that rehab place was doing really well for Emily. I mean, it was really,
as you wrote it.
yeah. But you also, it was a real different. Well, how Darren Star wrote it and directed. I want to ask you about Darren's direction, but also the just the way. And I, just because the scene was a 2-minute scene, I just took the snippet. But your whole countenance, your whole presence. It was like I really liked it because it gave us the idea that you can, even though, everything with My Desperate Valentine and everything like that, that if that was true, that you could be more in touch with yourself and could, really look beautiful, my darling. I think that is my favorite look of all of them, is right that moment. And I wonder what you think about it, looking all these years, that particular scene.
Well, why did you ask that? Because I didn't think I would be able to be here tonight, so I recorded it ahead of time. And what I said about my favorite thing about that scene is that my hair doesn't have roots, which you think I look beautiful because my hair looks fucking good, And it couldn't look that way the whole run. Like I know I auditioned with the Roots, but they were correctable. But
Team Roots over here. I love the Roots.
Well, thank you, and it's a recurring theme in my career. But it's not the way the hair is meant to look. It's how it looks when a girl is either too poor or too lazy to get it dealt with, or has COVID. And you wear a hat a lot because you've.
Well, it was in style for a little while. It was.
In all fairness, too, I pointed out in my singing of the Mercedes-Benz thing in the quad. If you look at my hair and Tori Spelling's hair, we both have the exact same color of blonde hair with the exact same extent of dark roots, and yet I was some edgy weird girl, and she was the mainstream regular girl, and our hair was really the same. Mine was just shorter. Right. But so I think you think I look beautiful, Chuck. I think because my hair is cleaned up. So thank you for that. And
also, you look kind of happy and self-content and like being with Brandon, excuse me. And
you were acting. Same
acting, yeah.
I guess that's it. I guess that's what it was.
She was acting like she'd gotten better.
This is a really nice compliment.
That's the writing. That's the writing. That's not my acting. That's the writing. I just do
the writing and the directing and your performance. You made us believe what was written on the page
of the triangle.
Writer Manat says, "I'm glad they treated Emily's condition with respect and nuance instead of just acting like she was desperate for no reason and making her a one-off character." Really nice compliment there.
It is actually, and I think that mental illness was not and it was touched on so delicately on your show, but it hadn't really been touched upon in mainstream television at all, really, right? So I think
about kids, that's for sure, not too much, unless they had a condition,
Christine, also, I wanted to throw this to you. You wrote a Christmas episode in season 7, right? The gift wrapped episode. Do you remember writing that and what that experience was like for you?
I do remember. I wrote it, and I think I wrote it with my partner Sam Sarkar, who was my partner for 2 of the 3 I think we have 3 together, 2 together, and I wrote one alone for different reasons. But yeah, I do. Writing for the show was a gift. I hustled for that job. I think I told that story how I hustled for the writing job in a previous episode, and that Chuck was kind enough to trust me with doing it. But it's not the task that it might seem. Well, you wrote that. Like, I wrote the Christmas one, I wrote the Jeopardy one, I wrote a Halloween one. But on a serial show like this, when the storylines, the arc is written for so many characters, and the storylines are like veins that can't be broken. I can just run in and go, and now now Brandon declares he's gay. I have no
right.
control. So it's really just a gift of give you incredible bone structure, and you put the meat on those bones, and it's not a difficult task, and it's a gift if any writer gets to do that. So,
Christine, who was the easiest and hardest character to write, especially after having been on the show?
Without giving any names away, I had my own personal preferences for people, for human beings, for actors on the show, male and female, and I would write things that I felt would be funny or difficult or embarrassing for the actors to do. So I'm not above a little bit of being catty. So nobody was difficult to write for because the characters are very what's the word? Not iconic, but
malleable, fungible.
No. Less than more structured than that. There's prototypical. I mean, this character
Defined, maybe.
Other words are prototypical, but
they were defined.
But they're defined throughout all of nature. There's the rich kid. There's the slutty girl.
Archetypical.
There you go.
Leave it to the journalist editor who knows what the right word would be.
I got you. It always escapes me, and I want to use it all the time, and it always escapes me. I should have a tattoo in my body. Really, I want to talk about that word a lot. And this show, like Gilligan's Island too, archetypical, like archetypes, and they're not difficult to write for. They're fun to write for because you hope to give them some nuance. So you have bone structure, and you're trying to meet them up, and hopefully you're putting the meat on them. It's not the same meat everyone's eaten, for 30 years. You're putting some more interesting,
right?
a different marinade on that meat.
There you go.
Good
I just want to
cooking
have a
now.
question before we move. Oh, go on. Do you have any memories of Darren's direction?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Isn't that
All
crazy?
right.
Because it's crazy. It's crazy, but I don't.
All right, we're going to move the show along. Christine, before you leave, is there anyone that you want to say an F word about today, or do you got anything?
I want to get to the bottom of Jessica Alba and the fact that she lives.
There you go.
She's an actress on the planet.
I love you, Christine.
Fabulous.
She's amazing. We love Jessica Alba here.
Isn't she loved?
Yeah,
that's
It's always good seeing you, and we will see you again, I'm sure. Thank you so much.
Merry
for
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. That was Christine. She's always so lovely. I love having her.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Karen and I, because she was with Jay, we would see her at times. Them together.
You watched the Rolling Stones with her, right? You watched the Rolling Stones concert.
Absolutely, and watched all.
They lived right
there.
around the corner from me, so they lived in my neighborhood.
Yes, they sure did. They were up the road. Yes.
Charles, before we move this on, do we want to talk about the bus gag in It's a Totally Happening Life? Did we say anything about that? I saw this note here.
I hope you do, because I'm dying to know about that special effect.
Well, it's the one that when you only have $444, you go to the store and you do it. This one, cost about $442. It came together, and this was all our post-production group, and really Dave Semmel and Kenny Miller. I mean, and they showed it to me with the crinkly and this. We talked about, I was fine. I realized. I mean, Pete asked when we were doing it yesterday when we were watching it. The other day we were watching it together. The Talking Stars was not originally, when you think, oh, I'm going to have the stars are going to be, you're not going to speak two sedentary things, because there was already computer graphics in 1992. But I realized we couldn't really do it. And I really liked the kind of fun Hamisher quality. And you who are out there watching, if you put on this episode during the holidays, one of the, unless, CBS cut it for the music or something, that when it comes up from the store, the Walsh house, it moves up to the stars, and it's kind of very engaging. And there was just such a simplicity about it, and I didn't mind that it was really looked very fake, because come on, rocking stars. But again, I love one of my favorite lines of season 3, and certainly would be in my top 100, no question about it, was "It's a higher power." It certainly is delivered by Bobby Costanzo.
All right,
I want to say one other thing about Bobby Costanzo. Larry, you played softball with him, right?
I did. He was a power hitting left-handed hitter. I played in a game in '78 at Fairfax with Bruno Kirby, Jeff Goldblum, Chris Guest, all the young New York actors all played together. Steve Collins. Anyway, that was. Wish Bobby was with us, but.
That's okay. All right, listen, guys. I want to move the show along. We got some really exciting things happening here. This is going to be outrageous. What's about to happen? Mark freaking Kiely.
It's not even Mark Kiely. It's Mark freaking Kiely.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We've got the faculty here.
Larry.
Great.
But Mark and Denise, we couldn't do this segment without this person.
You're so tired and I'm crying. I can't stand it.
Yeah, Gabrielle, great to see you. Oh, you all look so good.
Oh my God, you guys look great. It's so good to see. I cannot believe I am seeing you guys. Wow. Wonderful. How are you? How are you, Mark, Denise, Jessica? How is everybody?
So good. We're living in COVID.
I know, COVID.
I know I'm doing the best I can, but what an amazing moment to see all your faces, to see a group of people who made and changed my career.
Aww.
And
you made and changed your career. It was an opportunity and you took it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I like how that sounded.
Yeah.
Pete, it's such fun, Pete. I don't know, and Jess, I don't know if you know this. Gabrielle, Denise, and I did a staged reading together of Everybody's Talking About It, directed by Lindsay Rosen.
That was so fun.
For the Blaze Girls, and we did it a couple of years ago, and it was great. And that's the last time I've had a chance to see Denise. So very well.
Really exciting to see Denise. I have to explain to the audience
here, but I just used a hat today.
Yeah, Aaron is too.
I want to bring on
Mark.
I just want to bring on Lily.
Hi, Lily.
I just want to make sure that we got her on here.
We got Mark for you. There
Mark,
he is.
Lily is a Mark Kiely super fan, and we wanted to make sure she had the opportunity to say hello to you too. So Lily is here on the show with us.
I gotta say hi to Mark, to Denise, to Gabby. I gotta say hi to everyone. Thank you for having
Merry
me.
Christmas.
Hello,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Lily, where do you live?
Can I just
I'm
say
in Connecticut.
I was in Times Square, and I think it was maybe 5-6 years ago, and to be recognized in Times Square, in McDonald's in Times Square. Are you Mrs. Teasly?
Oh,
it just blew. It continually blows.
That was me. That was me.
I love that.
Jessica's in New York.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Let me put these two people next to each other, Mark and Gabby. Let's do that.
I haven't seen Mark since
So
the
good.
show.
It's been so long.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Where are you living?
Glad to be here. I'm on the East Coast.
Wow.
So I'm in a sweet little spot in Rhode Island. It's a southern kind, a little beach town.
I love Rhode Island. My daughter went to RISD. I love Rhode Island. Fabulous.
So I'm 20 minutes away. Everything's 20 to 40 minutes away in Providence.
Mark,
big.
if you're in Rhode Island and you're at a beach town, do you catch waves?
Yeah, man, I'm in the ocean all the time. I swam actually a week ago. All right.
Cool now.
Yeah.
The guy. No wonder we cast.
Gabrielle, I'm curious. You worked with Mark a lot all those years ago.
Yeah.
Was there some crush?
Such a great guy, huh?
Was there any crushy on Gil Myers for you too back in the day?
Maybe a little bit. You know what? I always got along. Mark is a great. So, Mark, you are really is great to work with you. I mean, I haven't. It's been so many years since we did, but such a really grounded, clear actor, supportive, really wonderful to work with you. So nice to see your face.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's very nice of you to say. But we did. We connected early, and the nicest thing was you were very open to trying to mine this relationship, discover what it is that Karen and Charles and everyone was writing, and that was, I'm an actor, so I loved that. We would get together, we'd look at the scene, we'd break it down.
Never afraid to work. It was great.
Yeah, always giving, and selfless, not about you all the time, right? It was you. You opened up to everybody on the cast. You always had a giving, easy flow of energy, camera rolling or not. So I totally dug you.
I say this all the time.
I'll be emotional here, guys. Yeah.
All the time. I would show up at work.
Yes, I want to say something.
Okay,
I want to say something. Because Chuck might have been just about to say this himself, but I remember, Mark, you came in to read for a different part. Wasn't that the case? And we were blown freaking away by your audition in the room. It was one of those. And
we wanted you to be Mr. Rick.
Mr.
And
Rick.
we were outvoted.
Yeah,
and we got outvoted. We were told. But we knew, come on, this guy.
We knew how to bring you back. We knew you had to play something. It was so fortuitous that part came and you were available. And it was
exactly.
When you're in the room. Wait, let me just say, in the room auditioning is a really hard place to act. It's a really hard place to do. And some people just are really bad at it, but wonderful actors, because that place is very tough to do it. And Mark had mastered it. He did it such a convincing performance of being in love with our casting director that we thought maybe they had a thing going on. I mean, that's how he was.
Did you make him sing Great Balls of Fire during his audition for Rick?
But other than that room, you guys were also really welcoming. It was early in my TV career, starting out, doing a lot. But you guys were really good. Paul Wagner was there as well.
Obviously, sure he was.
And the vibe in the room allowed for good work.
Yeah. Well, if you had the talent, you did, and I just want you to know. I remember it 30 years ago, like better than last year, actually.
I was really psyched that you and Charles would be here, and Peter, thanks for me to come on.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We got a lot of stuff. Right?
I was going to say, we just get so many requests for you all the time. People absolutely love you and love the work that you did. Now, I'm going to ask you, Mark, any crushy on Gabrielle back in the day?
He still has a crush on me.
We got some skills, right? So we got to let that play, right? and I introduced her to my wife early on. It's all good.
And you were a newlywed at that point.
That's the key to having I think as an actor, if you're going to have love interests, if you're in a relationship, it's very important. And I do it very early. Just like Mark said, I introduce and talk about my husband. So it's really clear and it frees us up to have a great time because it's clear there is no crossing the line. And that is just
there is a story about that. So I would do that in other roles, work with the actress and try to get her comfortable, have her meet Ellen if we were doing something like that. And I remember distinctly this one girl I was sitting next to going, are you okay? We want to do this. And she turned and looked at me dead-eyed and goes, this is so you become more comfortable. I was like, yeah, probably. We had an easy flow and always enjoyed each other.
I want to ask you this. This is not a Christmas episode question, but when you guys shot all of that stuff with Gabrielle on walking on the beam and all that stuff, and
the high wire,
The high wire, sorry, the high wire and all that stuff. Do you guys have memories of shooting that? For Mark, I'm going to ask him.
That was just a little chaotic because it was the dreamy kind of sequence, and if you remember having a few thoughts of just go with it, because and it was a real high wire.
It was. I trained for the high wire. That's right.
You had worked it out, but yeah, I mean that's like 1992, right? 1992.
I'm telling you, Mark, when I'm listening, and Denise, for you guys to know that when I've done this now with you guys like twice, 2 other times, and you talk about things I cannot remember. I mean, it is embedded within their soul, the story's going on, and all the characters, like Larry's going off and saying, I remember this and that, and Jessica, all you guys, Charles, Karen, everybody keeps talking about stuff. I'm like, right. So
yeah, well, we have
looking back at the scripts and the episodes that helps us remember, truthfully.
Yeah. I will tell you this though. I put my name up there because I know people are watching this show because I kept getting texts or little phone calls going, "Hey, Gil freaking Meyer." Word is out, man.
I don't want to fire you. I just wanted to fire you.
You know what I want to ask Gabrielle too? How important do you think the faculty characters were to the show, Denise and Mark?
I actually think it gave a lot of texture to the show. I mean, it really allowed us to tell fuller stories. And you guys were, I mean, you have to know, I mean, I have not seen Mark all these years. It's wonderful to see him, but Denise and I have seen each other throughout the years. She's so wonderful. I mean, just wonderful. But it was fun to be able to act with, they came on so prepared, so focused. It allowed us really to extend outside of our day in and day out work. It really made our stories more colorful and full. And really, I mean, they were such strong anchors during a time of, it wasn't always easy on set, right, guys? We can all talk about that. And
really, I always was on the other part of town. I never knew about that.
But not always being so easy on set, it was always great. They were anchors, truly wonderful. Like, just that's why when I came on, seeing their faces after all these years, it only brings up good feelings because. It was great.
That's awesome. Denise, how about you? A question for you. Seeing these guys, Gabrielle and Mark, all these years later, what are you feeling today?
Well, it's so interesting. We're at the holidays, and Mark, I haven't seen you in forever. But we were like the grown-ups.
Yes.
And but what we were received with grace. Because at the end of the day, the show wasn't about us, and what's Gabrielle saying about us being the anchors, and I think that's who we were, because the story was about kids, and I've been in touch with Gabrielle over the years, and I'm so proud of her accomplishments and what she's done for SAG, what she's done for the union, but we touch people's lives and we entertain.
Can I just say also something, Peter, that Denise, you should know, and that you are based on our actual school principal that our little children from their elementary school, who was a most amazing educator, leader, organizational head of great renown and respect. She was a wonderful woman. We didn't use her name. We used another friend name, another teacher's name, actually. And only the best memories of the actual, both Mrs. Teasly and the character on whom Mrs. Teasly is based. So she has a big part in our heart, actually, every time we hear the name.
And you have a big part in my heart because the way it worked with character payments is whoever had the first episode with a character in it got paid a few $100s every time she reappeared. And I got I got the character payment for Mrs. Teasly, so it's always a pleasure.
It's a wonderful time of year.
I hear you.
Let's put Mrs. Teasly in this episode. Okay.
Wow.
Bring her back.
The time I got that phone call, and it's so funny. I don't know if any of you know him. When I first came to LA, I studied with Jeff Corey.
Oh,
sure.
And I was in his class, and I got the call for Harriet Strathmore. And I said, Jeff, I just got a call back for Beverly Hills 90210. And he's like, oh, well, honey, that's wonderful.
Wait. Did he say the last part? They missed the last part. What did you say?
Oh, the show's not doing well. It just became beyond what I think any of us thought it was going to become. It was beyond. And I loved going to work every time he called me.
I did, and you know what?
Go ahead.
No, I loved going to work. I loved being on set. When they would be setting the lights, and I'd want to just sing, and I was so happy, and I loved it. Every day I thought was my last day. I always thought, but
that's a good way to approach every job.
Right, your last.
Before we say goodbye to Lily, I want to see if you have any questions for any of them here, Mark, Gabrielle, or Denise.
I'll go for Mark.
Of course you will.
So Mark, I really loved the character Gil Myers. I mean, he was just that teacher that any high school girl wanted. He was nice to look at. He was relatable, young, cool, charming, had a great rapport with the students. But I'd like to know, Mark, where do you see your character Gil Myers in 2020? Would he be living on a beach town in Rhode Island somewhere? Or
Lily, bring in the question.
Well, Gil, I mean, that's an imagination. The interesting thing about Gil was being that younger teacher and having that other relationship with the kids a little bit, being young as a teacher, so not understanding all the lines, trying to do that. And, I've done education, done other things in education, so I understand those guys now. 2020, I don't know, I think he could have just dropped out and got his surfboard and went to an island somewhere. Yeah, I kind of would like to go with that one. Let's go.
I'm there.
Jessica, do you have any questions for these guys? Lily, we're going to say goodbye to you. I have to leave the room.
Hi, guys.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love all three of you. I mean, Denise, I kind of felt like the Mrs. Teasly and like Steve Sanders could have had their own spinoff. The two of you guys played off each other so well.
Yeah. He was so, when you work with an actor who's so yummy and so hungry, and the way you wrote the relationship between the two of us, I miss him. I haven't seen him in years. I mean, I see him, but playing off of him taught me a lot about giving and taking, and I was waiting for my spinoff, Jessica. But this show was my spinoff, to be perfectly honest, that you guys continually brought me back for all those years was a gift and a blessing, and I grew so much. It was my first job.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Harriet Strathmore was my first job.
Wow. I didn't know that. You were so good. You're so good.
A stage actor. That's where I came from, was stage. Yeah. So,
all right, we're gonna say goodbye to Jessica Shaw real quick because I want to enter somebody else into this. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's always good seeing you. See you a lot more in 21, I hope. Okay.
For sure.
This is for Gabrielle. Now you have to.
I've seen you more. Now we're doing the podcast more now than I've seen you in so long. Hi, my love. How are you?
I'm great, gorgeous. How are you?
This is great. Now, well, Gabrielle, what do you got? You got the teacher. You got the husband.
And now, in this day and age, I would have had Denise too. So there you go.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The you and Christine Elise hooked
That's
up
right.
in the BH, the
right.
reboot.
Well,
That's right.
open for all possibilities.
Nice to see you again, Mark. Gosh, both Marks.
That's
I
right.
know.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark.
Wonderful man.
Hey, Charles, I'm
Happy
looking for
holidays,
a clip
everyone.
here.
Mark, good to see you.
Oh.
I saw it. You put it out there.
The
I
Andrea
wanted
one.
all three, but at least put the one on.
Which one? The Andrea one? The one with Andrea
All
and
three of them on. This is all such.
oh, this one.
West Beverly offers many exciting elective courses, such as Shaving 103 for the hygienically inclined.
Okay, I pay my debts, but this is ridiculous.
Okay, I changed my mind. You don't have to shave it off.
Now you tell me.
No, actually, it's a good look for you. It goes perfectly with your split personality.
Funny.
Now, is this the kind of nutty banter that goes on at Yale?
No, all the real funny stuff is done in Latin.
Well, you better start boning up, Andrea.
E pluribus unum.
Well, Gil Myers is not in charge of this event.
Oh, yeah? So who is?
If you had given us sufficient notice, perhaps your spaces on the bus could have been filled from the long waiting list of students who would have been happy to join us at the Alvarado Street School today. But at this point, unless you have a note from your doctor saying that you have pneumonia, and I want to see that chest x-ray, I expect to see each and every one of your smiling faces on that bus. And I mean immediately. If not sooner. Move.
God, I love that scene, Denise, so much.
Janice could always, just before take, Janice, I could always see her shoulders kind of come up and go back, just like a superintendent of teacher. You just got to put it there, right in physical, and I knew. You know?
Oh my God! Did you grow, Mark? Did you grow your beard and mustache for the show, or did you have it and they asked if you'd shave it?
You know, that I forget because I was often, for some reason, I could grow it fast then, so it was on and off. And I know at the time coming in, it helped differentiate being a little bit more age.
Yes, it sure did. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I remember too.
Yeah,
See,
it was cool. It was just such a fun show. On set with you guys, to work with you guys. Even Mark and I would get to be together sometimes too. It was just really good writing, and I'm fond of it even more now because of all the experiences afterwards. You get to realize how good that was. You know, how many good friendships you could make, and how in acting to come in and be welcome. You know, to from everybody on the cast, and that was wonderful. And I thought, oh, it's going to be like that all the time, right? And it's not.
Well, it's still pertinent now.
Fond memories. Yeah, it's fascinating how many fans this has across the world.
Well, watching my girls enjoy it is like the best thing on the planet.
Oh, that's
I'm
nice.
showing it to them with the original music, right, Mark?
Well, the biggest thing is like, it's like, Daddy, you had hair.
How old are they, Mark? How old are they?
Soon to be 17, 15, and 12.
Okay, so that's
Yes, that's it.
So, yeah, it's lots of stuff
Perfect.
there. Yeah.
We were just reminded of someone who was in the Peace Corps when it was on, and she just reminded us that her father used to send her the videotapes in Africa, so she could watch it every week.
That's what she was doing.
No, I was-
That's what
I
she was
was in
doing when she was
Croatia.
fighting Ebola. Yes.
So he would send the
I was in
VHS.
Croatia, and I'm a part of FIA, which is the International Actors Union. It's unions all over the world. And there was a young woman who was taking us around Croatia, and she stopped. During the time, we were going and seeing everything. They're showing us around, and she turned to me and she started to cry. She said, "Can I just have your picture?" She said, "I learned to speak English watching 90210." And she said during the time of occupancy, in Croatia, when there was a lot of political unrest, she said it was the only thing that gave us light and hope. And she cried. And I was sitting here in Croatia, like, come on, really? That's the conversation we had 2 years ago. And I'm fortunate enough because of, my service of traveling, for the members. And when I'm traveling around the world, and people stop me to talk about the show. It's so specific to them emotionally. They mark moments in their lives that they share, and that the show transcended just being in our experience. We were always working every day and not really realizing, I think, for myself, that really how much the impact the show had on individuals. I mean, profoundly, not just like it was a popular show. It was my favorite show, which is lovely and wonderful. And, people had drinking parties to the show. And every time we said something stupid, they would drink again. I mean, I've heard all of that, but there were definite moments. And as I've traveled through the world, that people have stopped to talk about how meaningful moments were in their lives, transformative moments. And that's something for you guys to be able to really be able to hold and own that. That's so special. I mean, how many people in their lives could really say they've been a part of an experience like that and helped to shape an emotional life of another individual? It's beautiful.
And what's also beautiful about it too is, it goes from high school, right? So we've got Denise and Mark, and we've got those feelings of what the kids are going through. But then as you guys get older, and and Andrea and Jesse have something going on, it's touching us every part of our lives. That's the thing about 90210, that
you watch them grow. You watch the characters grow,
and most of us grew with it. So it's just absolutely beautiful. And the work that
we grew old together.
Well, exactly, in a way.
When you made the generation, you were so young, right? You got that clip, Pete. I think this is the time to show Gabrielle clip.
The one with Brandon, yes? Or the
one with Mr. Priestley, yes.
When I was dating Jay, I couldn't help but remember that day last summer when I just started seeing him. And you were trying to convince me to stay at the beach club.
Yeah.
You were expressing your feelings.
Yes, and I can still recall the sting of your response.
Well, you know what they say. Timing is everything. I can't believe you.
What? What'd I do?
You were thinking of Nikki. You don't think I knew that?
You were thinking about Jay.
Oh, so what? Now we're even?
No, that doesn't make us even, because I never even liked Jay. In fact, I am not only insulted, I'm disgusted.
That's great stuff.
That was great.
Oh, to be that young.
All right, well, we're going to say goodbye to our actors here. Now, Chuck, I do have that other clip with Andrea and Jesse. You want me to play that too?
Yeah, why not? And Mark and Denise can comment. Yes, let's do it right now. Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Hello there, Santa. This is my daughter, Hannah.
My, what a beautiful little child you have here.
Oh, it's okay. Santa's a nice man. Smile.
Mom, it's okay.
Smile for Mama. Come on, smile.
Honey, don't worry. Honey. It's okay.
I gotta say something.
That baby should have got credit. That baby was good.
Those were not the clips I picked out. You know.
Okay.
Wrong timing. Timings were wrong.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask
What's Chuck wants to say something. I said no children were harmed in the making of that episode.
Except that little baby, but we don't talk about
I bet that baby's not getting residuals either.
I don't know if I got anything even while they did it. But you guys had so much of the scenes. I was interested. I know you'd be here, Gabby, so I get both of you to ask this question. We did the religion conflict so much. Did you get tired of doing them already? You had the Jewish and the Catholic. Did you think it was worthwhile? Did you, especially Mark? I wonder about.
It breaks them up, Rich.
Well, it was completely worthwhile, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I consider myself a recovering Catholic, for that matter. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I think it was incredibly important. I don't know of too many other shows that dealt with religious conflict at that time. Anyway, not to my knowledge, at least. Gab, I mean,
again, I think it's the stuff that makes stories interesting, right? It's more, that's what made the show special anyway, when you were able to go and say everything's not always easy. It's just, it's not, the true thing about life is what it is. And you're going to, it is what it is. That's what it, and I think that was, I like that. I like when we didn't vanilla code everything, when we didn't make it so simple. And I think it was much more interesting.
You opened up a story that, you know, it wasn't just white, it wasn't just black, it wasn't just this, or it wasn't just that. And as the story went on for the 2 years, you opened it up to people that, the people, you know.
Well, that's what I was hoping you guys would say, but I.
It's a good example too. Like Mark was right as far as it was very early for the show to do that kind of topic with religion.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I'm Catholic, my wife is Jewish, and we're an interfaith couple. And so we'd gone through that in 92, 93, 94. And it was fascinating that's in the show, but that's what the show did. There were so many topics you guys weren't afraid to go after and to explore. And now we can look back and see how pivotal it was and why those things tie into that and why the depth of their likability to the show. You know, they really, really like the show, and it's because of the connection.
Those kids were living that life.
Yeah.
They were living that life, and we were able to speak to it, and you guys expanded it.
Well, because young people are saying, you see us. You're not designing us. You're seeing us. And that's an important thing, right? People say that 90210, it created a whole new genre of television for young people, right? It actually, when being iconic, what made it iconic was, I think, the stance and the shift that it created within our viewership for young people. It reset the industry in terms of television, I think.
Yeah, it really did. What came after the influence? It influenced so many things afterwards.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
Wow. And I don't even know if everybody knew it at the time how powerful that was and how much it's influenced.
No.
And I think
it blows my mind. And then we're still talking about it, you guys. I mean,
that's the point. That we're still talking about it.
It blows my mind.
People won't even hear anything about it is mind blowing to me.
Yes, it does. I'm right there with you, Gabriel.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it in Italy tomorrow morning.
And also, Karen and I, Larry and Jessica can speak to this because we get residuals and more. This was the
We're not getting them as much now, Chuck, so you shouldn't talk about that too much. But go on.
Okay, yeah.
Excuse me? What?
We're not getting as many residuals right now. So
okay, well, we're talking about, as a profit participant, this was a really good year for 90210.
I mean, the Irish Bill does have a better streaming deal.
You may be able to talk about that, but the rest of us can't.
Yeah, well,
I will say that what was great about the seeing these stories and why I think they resonated is that we were writing about our own lives and our own experiences and the things that meant something to us.
Mm-hmm.
So that
emotional reality was
right. And when it played well, it played real. It's because we wrote what we'd experienced and we knew it in our hearts. And words that come from the heart go to the heart. And that's why we were able to affect people.
So true.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to say goodbye to Denise, Mark, Gabrielle, and Mark.
Thank you, everybody.
Kiely, my number is the same number I had.
Happy holidays, guys.
You have it. I want me.
Great to see you.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Really, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. COVID free.
We got a new week. New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
And here's to a new president. Yeah.
Yes.
Rich didn't get into politics, but I did. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Okay, that was great. Whew. All right, we are moving the show along here. Now, Let me play this. We have a Patreon. I don't know if you guys know that. It's the perfect time to plug that, right? This is what some of the things that have been going on Patreon.
Hey, do you want to join the Beverly Hills Beach Club? Well, now you can. Well, sort of. The Beverly Hills 90210 show has a Patreon with exclusive bonus
This
interviews.
is the reason I came out here, and here I am, like playing your boyfriend.
I heard on the radio that the night before there was some paparazzi and she tried to hit him with her car. I said, well, if there's anything that I do that makes you want to get your keys, rev it up, put it in gear, and head in my direction, let me know. And she said, what?
Q&A.
Kathleen, is she really going to be there? She's going to no-show?
Watch
seen Brian recently, Gabby, Jade. I can't believe that was 30
Do you ever get flashbacks when you walk past Hermosa Beach? You're just like, oh my God, this is where they did that. Do you ever get those?
No.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm not supposed to say this.
And some directors were invited back for that very reason.
How many takes does that take?
I mean, that was one of the things where, like, when we weren't filming, I was practicing it.
This is the Mommy Dearest house, by the way.
So head over to patreon.com/Beverly Hills 90210 show to join in on the fun. All the cool kids are doing it.
We got a lot of fun and cool things happening over on Patreon. The watch-alongs are super, super fun. Karen and Charles, did you have some fun this week when we did the watch-along?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it really brings back Christmas. And Christmas in 90210 terms, I think, Jess, you remember when we were all at Chasen's, right? For the spelling party?
No,
Remember?
I wasn't at Jason's for the spelling party. Maybe
Oh, yes, you were. Yes, you were. You know how I know that?
I remember being at the
Mr. Ferrero has a
spelling house.
We're going to talk about that one too.
Oh, there was a Chasen's
Got
party.
any pictures? You got some pictures
I
from
got some
Chasen's?
pics here.
Yeah.
I know she was definitely
Season
there.
2,
because-
after season. Look at
Oh,
that.
look at that. That's me.
Yep.
You know?
I don't remember that.
They're really the handsome.
There's me.
Now, I have a question about this picture here, that picture. Put it back up, Peter. Can I talk over it? Yeah. So the man who's standing next to me, what is he thinking in that picture?
Oh, God.
That's a question I want to ask anyway.
I want to go home.
Question. Yeah.
Was I pregnant there in that shot? Was that 90?
No. No, Avery's already been.
That was 91. Okay.
Yeah, 91.
I will never forget being at parties with Candy and hearing her talking to the Blockbuster wife. Remember what was the Blockbuster man's name?
Yeah, I know.
Wayne Gazzanga. Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne Gazzanga.
Yeah. She talked to the wife in the corner once and said to her, okay, when he gives you jewelry, you have to trade up. What he gives you this year, you don't have to keep it necessarily. You can trade that in a later year for something better. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I never learned that.
In the show. She put her in the show.
And we're talking Candy spelling. Oh, go on, sweetie.
And the other thing, if I remember at one of these parties, was when she told Steve Wasserman that he wasn't wearing the right shoes with his tuxedo. That you don't wear street shoes, you wear slippers. And she made Aaron show Steve the velvet slippers that he was supposed to be wearing with his tuxedo.
There you go. All right, I got some more pictures here, Charles. This is
all right.
This is
Oh, look at that. Karen, you look beautiful.
Oh,
there you go. And here's this one.
That is
there's
Steve.
Steve.
That's Steve.
I wanted to have
Steve.
this one here because we always are talking about Steve and Steve and Jess and their Steve. So which
Nice
one?
to see him. And then, of course, Charles, we've shared this one before, but love this one, right?
Yeah, that was the guys.
Wagner.
Boy, do you look like Lindsay in that picture.
The oppressive Rosen gene pool, we call it.
Yes.
All right, listen, guys, someone helps us out all the time here on the show, and most people don't know this person. I want to give her some recognition. This is Jacqueline Weiss, and Jacqueline is our social media person. Sometimes people are messaging me and emailing me, but they're actually not. They're messaging with Jacqueline.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Jacqueline. How are we doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're okay, but I mean, how are we doing? How is the show doing?
Good.
Yeah.
We have lots of growth. It's really fun to talk with all the fans all the time, respond to everyone's messages, DMs, comments, and it's a good time.
Before we, you're going to announce the person. Someone won a contest to join us here on the show today, and they're going to get a chance to ask Larry, Jessica, or Karen, or Charles a question. But before that happens, do you have a special 90210? Is there a favorite moment from any of the seasons that?
Well, I was just doing a little watching, and I was watching obviously the show before this, and as a Jewish woman, I always loved all of the Jewish representation in the show. And I was just watching the season 7 Christmas episode, Gift Wrapped, with this episode with where they're exchanging gifts and they give each other the same notebook. But before that, there's a moment that I just thought was interesting where Felice is kind of like throwing digs at Jackie and Mel when they're at dinner. And she's like, oh, well, David must be messed up because it's so confusing. Like your parent, like his parents aren't together. Like, they're not married. And, you have two faiths. Like, oh my God. And she's like making it like so horrible. And I just thought that was interesting as a product of an interfaith relationship and someone who's in one myself. Are
you saying Felice was anti-Semitic? Is that what you're getting at?
I think that she, she's a little, maybe against it. I mean,
not a friend of the tribe, so to speak.
She was very obviously, her Catholicism obviously like played a big role.
So writers of Scene 7, you wanted, that's what you were wanted to communicate about her, huh?
Well, I think in that episode she's referring, because David is, we took the mother's illness, mental illness, David's mother's illness, and we kind of see shades of it in David. So we start realizing that David might be mentally ill. And do you want your daughter to be with a mentally ill person?
Oh my, I like that.
All right. Jackie, let's announce the contest winner. We'll bring her on and let her ask a question. Then we're going to pop into some other people that are going to come in here. So go ahead. Who is the winner of this competition?
It is Denise DeChico. She won our Instagram contest.
Okay, there's Denise. We're hearing you back.
On mute.
You're mute.
Hey, Denise.
Hi.
Do you have a question for? So it's nice to see you. Congratulations.
Hi, Denise.
Hi, Denise.
She should have start camera or something, or
I don't know. Go ahead. What question do you have?
Well, I had so many, but of course they were all answered throughout this show. I guess my one question would be, what did you guys do cast and crew-wise around the holidays to celebrate together? Like with all the actors, writers, crew?
Great question.
Denise, that is a great question.
We're going to say goodbye to Denise. And Jacqueline, thank you guys for being here. And Jacqueline, thank you for all the amazing work that you do. And now Charles is going to answer that question.
Yeah, you weren't even, this even predates Jessica. But I think Karen might remember it. In fact, I know she does. It was our first Christmas meal out on Calvert Street. And we had barely got by, and we were scraping and scrounging the first 12 and whatever. And here we are at the last day of filming. Nobody is expecting to walk into a set where they're carving roast beef, where there's actual tablecloths over the tables and little gifts for everyone. And it was really like we've made it as a show. And you almost take it from that moment to Chasen's, which was a victory party, because our first Christmas party for the executives in this was at a dive bar in Hollywood, which for Patreons, we're going to be talking with the man who actually found the bar, who comes on the show. Jules Heimovitz is coming later behind the thing. So we're going to ask him about that dive bar. And Candy really loved that place.
Candy in the washroom. Candy in the washroom. Okay.
But what I did, we gave gifts. We gave donations once to the school. Karen, remember, that gave away socks?
Oh, well, that was a personal Rosen. That's something.
That's what we did.
It was a charity called Operation School Bell that we that we made a big donation to. But tell them about the Gabby with the
I was just going to go there.
Yeah.
Season 2, Gabrielle Carteras, who really an amazing person and really is a leader, really had so much charitable instincts in her, and she wanted to, for Meals on Wheels, get a van, and she got the Chrysler Corporation to give the cast a van so that they could give it to Meals on Wheels. And we celebrated it that day and had a whole party. And I got a lot of trouble in that party. Didn't I, Karen?
Karaoke party, a story for another time.
Yes, singing karaoke and changing the lyrics.
But that was fun with the cast.
It was that. But what I used to give the cast, and Jess, I hope, Larry, you might even have one of them. I used to give tapes. That was the sound of the show. And with all the best songs that we had done. And if had I known they were going to strip them, I should have sent it to CBS, just so they could do something with all those things. But the music mattered. It mattered to the crew. It mattered to us. We worked really hard to do that. And that's what I would personally do for cast and crew at Christmas.
Nice. All right, let's move this on. I'm going to bring Melanie back on. Charles.
Melanie, hi.
We have to give away one more of these special items that Charles has, right? We gave away one on Patreon. Melanie, do you have a way that we're going to give this away? Do we know what that is?
Well, we didn't talk about it, but
figuring it out on the fly here, guys.
Let's do this. Everybody who drops a comment in the next 5 minutes, and I'll time it, will be eligible to win, and we'll select after the show. So that will be the 6:55 to 7 o'clock time frame. Everybody who comments now will be eligible to win.
Okay.
That's your prize. Can't get anywhere else.
That's it.
That's right.
Now,
it's
listen,
priceless.
we want to talk to this person because we want to start talking a little bit about this person. We can't talk about 90210 and special moments at Christmas without talking about Luke Perry. And director Rory Karff is a good friend of mine. And as it turns out, he knew Luke very well. So, Rory, why don't you tell me a little bit about your friend Luke?
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, I met Luke back in 2010. He narrated a documentary I directed, and we kind of just hit it off. And then he narrated some more. Luke had a great voice. He did a lot of voiceover work, a lot of cartoons and things like that. And then he told me he had an idea for a documentary he wanted to do on Marge Schott. I don't know if you guys remember her, the baseball player, Cincinnati Reds.
Not the Nazi who owned the Reds.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Luke was from Fredericktown, Ohio, and grew up a big Reds fan. Threw out the first pitch at Riverfront Stadium, and he wanted to do a documentary, an ESPN 30 for 30, on her that we would direct together. We wound up doing a short film, and it was awesome. We went to Cincinnati and filmed, and he interviewed a bunch of baseball players and visited Marge Schott's grave, and we really bonded over that time period. And I was trying to think of stories related to Luke and 90210 because I grew up a huge 90210 fan, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yes, originally I remember it was on with Party of Five, and I liked this girl. And I just started going over her house, and that's how I discovered the show.
Well played, Rory.
I didn't know anything about it, and I suddenly got like mesmerized by the Dylan character. This is like when he was off the rails, doing drugs, alcoholic. I'm like, this is the coolest guy ever, and it really roped me in. But I wanted to make sure I compliment you guys because there was such a depth and richness to the characters on the show that lasts. And you guys really also took risks in your storytelling. And like, for instance, the storyline where Dylan's dad dies, I went back and watched some episodes, and the next episode where you have sort of Dylan's alter ego following him around, and then it turns out that it's a little boy. I mean, that is really deep. Filmmaking, and I found it very touching. So I think you guys really created something special.
Yeah,
and it really changed my life because I met Luke because I was a fan of the show and wanted to hire him. And then we developed a great friendship. And I would try to discuss 90210 with him, and he like never watched the show. And it was so frustrating to me because I would bring up episodes and want to talk to him about it, and all his memories were just from filming it. Because I was like, oh man, what about that scene where your dad dies and you throw your arms up in the air, you go, no, and he's like, what was that like? He's like, it was hot. That was like it was a lot of the heat from the flame. I mean, that was the memory. But we were in Cincinnati filming, and people were coming up to Luke on the street, calling him Dylan. And like, oh, Dylan McKay, man, I loved you. And he was so gracious, courteous about it. And the truth is, he really wasn't much like Dylan in a lot of ways. He was kind of quirky and you know, not very troubled at all, you know, a little stubborn for sure. But I asked him then, I said, you know, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with like being so tied to one character, this like kind of the coolest guy ever, and it's not necessarily really like you? And I remember what he told me. He said that he discussed it with Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz, and said that character's a blessing that keeps on giving, and you should embrace it. And Luke told me that after that, he really tried to embrace it. So
really nice stuff. Rory, you do have a story about visiting Luke at Christmas time. I thought that would be a nice.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, sure. I told this on the Luke tribute on his birthday and cried. So I'll try not to cry when I tell this story. But another reason Luke and I bonded was when he was divorced and was a single father, and I was going through a divorce. And he really became one of my best friends during this time period. He was so thoughtful and caring, and constantly like checked in on me. Like he would call me from like the set of Riverdale, and I would hear people in the background. And I'd be like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "Ah, they're just changing a light." And I'm like, "This is crazy." And he invited me. He asked me, he called me. He's like, "Well, what are you doing for Christmas?" And it was the first Christmas after the divorce. I didn't have my kids that year, and I didn't really have any plans. You know, I wasn't going home. I was in LA. And Luke said, "Why don't you come by the house? Like, have Christmas with me and the family." And you know, I knew Luke's kids, and I was like, "Oh, this will be great. I'll get to be with his family." And I show up, and it's just Luke and his fiance Madison, and there's shit everywhere. I mean, there's like clothes and stuff, and she seems like a little stressed out, you know. And I'm like, "What's going on? Like, where is everybody?" And Madison's like, "Well, you know, we're going to Bora Bora tomorrow morning. Our flight's at 7, and Luke hasn't packed yet." And and I'm like, "Oh, Luke, you know, I don't know, man. Should I go?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine, you know. It's hot there. What do you need to pack anyway?" He's like, "You want a beer?" And then he's like, "Hey, I have some chili from last night. I'll heat up some chili." And he heated up chili, and I said, "Luke, why would you invite me over when you're not having anyone here and you have to leave the next day?" And I always remember he told me, "I remember what my first Christmas was like without my kids, and I didn't want you to be alone." And I just man, I miss Luke every day. I think about him all the time. I just texted Jack, his son, and Luke's father passed away actually a few days ago. His father raised him. So I was just texting Jack about that, and Luke was just a really special guy, you know, and I really loved him, and I got to tell him that, and I'm thankful for that. So that's good. And I'll tell you one other quick story. You guys like, the first time Luke invited me to like kind of hang out outside of work, it was like he said, "Let's go out." It was like a Friday night, and you know, I didn't know Luke super well, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna hit LA with Dylan McKay. This is going to be awesome. Like, we're gonna hit clubs. You know, I'm gonna ride on his motorcycle. Like we're gonna surf. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a whole Dylan McKay experience. And I'm at his house. It's like 5 at night, and he comes downstairs and he's wearing like these old man pajamas, like my dad used to wear, like the outfit with the matching shirt and pants, and he's got glasses, and they have like the thing on the back, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, aren't we going out? And he's like, oh man, my back kind of is bothering me. He's like, how about like we just order a pizza? And I'm like, and I think he could tell I was like a little disappointed. And he's like, I'll tell you what. Let's hang out. You can ask me any question you want about 90210. And if I remember, I'll answer it. And it was great. Like, I try not to be like a psycho about it and ask him a million things, but I got to ask him a couple of things and, ask him about the girls on the show. And he was very gracious. And so, but yeah, I mean, 90210 really, this sounds corny, but it really changed my life because first of all, it got me interested in filmmaking. As crazy as that sounds, because I really got in the show in high school, and I love the storytelling, and I love the episode, the Dreams of Dylan McKay, and that really like inspired me of how you guys kind of made mini movies, 45 minutes. So it got me interested in telling stories. I met Luke through that, and Luke introduced me to my fiance. So. My fiance without Luke, so thank you to you guys.
Well, you really owe us then, I guess.
I do.
Rory, if you don't
very nice, Rory. Very nice to meet you. And please, if you talk to Jack or Lemon again soon, would you please give our regards from the Rosens?
Yeah. Jack's wrestling as we speak.
And also, Rory, your first, when you and your fiance, if you're going to have children, the first one, if it's a boy, it's Dylan, right?
I already have a son with the middle name Dylan.
Nice. So then
my youngest son is Tyler Dylan.
Wow. Excellent.
Nice. All right, Rory. Thank you so much for being
nice to meeting you guys.
Very nice.
You guys, thank you.
Here.
Thank you.
Stories. Thank
Bye,
you,
Rory.
I'll see you guys.
All right.
That just made my day.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Okay. Charles, do you want to talk more about Luke, or what do you want to do?
Oh, you want to show some of the? Let's show the 2 clips we picked out for him. I think they're interesting because we really showed. Do you have the stills too, or not really?
I have some stills. Yeah, I don't know.
So when you think of Dylan at Christmas, that's the first one. This is with season 2, Walsh Family Christmas. He goes to see Jack in prison.
That's right.
Heavy story, really uplifting. The one before is from somewhere in the world. It's Christmas, season 4, and he's dispensing gifts all over, and is very Christmassy. Goes to the Walsh house, goes to see Kiely and Donna. Actually, kisses Donna too in it. And
what's that?
That is one I don't. This is what I recognize. Yeah. That's in the house. That's the long shot.
Here's this.
He goes to find Jack. Now in the 5th season, he's had it. He needs to get his money back, and he goes to his father's girlfriend from the FBI, and who's played by the actress Valerie Wildman. And this scene is from that. Also a very dramatic scene. And then I think we got one more, or a couple more stills, right?
Well, this happened at Christmas too, right? This happened at Christmas.
I mean, this is the major thing. I think when our super fans know Christmas, they know this moment. And, it was with family and holidays and how they ingratiate. We've talked about this one, how Larry and I think just too really feel like such a triumph to have this arc pay off the way it is.
Well, we slipped in it under the magic of Christmas,
it was that right. The Christmas story. That's right. All right. But then we decided we were going to show you a couple of clips if Pete's got them. That are much more lighter way.
I want to move because Look who's
No
here.
more, Dylan. Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Happy holidays to all.
Happy holidays.
Good to see you guys again.
Yay.
Good to see you, man. Listen, this is a big.
Pete? How you doing? Thanks
I'm
for the
good,
invite.
man. Yeah,
Good to
man.
see
It's
you,
always
Jamie.
good to see you, man. I was just listening to your record today. I Know the Game. What a great freaking song that is, man.
I think we had it on the show.
Yeah,
When he had
I
his
remember
band,
playing that.
I told my wife today, I was like, I'm gonna, I know this is not a Christmas question, but what you were writing I Know the Game, and where did that come from? It's such a great.
I remember I was a big Eddie Money fan, and that I was trying to kind of capture. I actually went on tour and toured with Eddie Money. We played some shows together, and so that song was. I don't know. I was kind of trying to tap into a little bit of that Eddie Money kind of vibe, you know.
Rocks, man. It's one of my favorites. All right, listen, we're going to talk about this season 5 thing, right? Where police tries to buy Ray to stop seeing Donna. Well, here, let's just bring Felice on.
Here comes the bad girl.
Hi.
Mean girl.
Hi.
Hi.
Catherine.
So good to see you all.
I
Nice to
watched
see
the
you.
$10,000 payoff for the first time last night. I was appalled.
You know you were married to a villainess.
Were you appalled that he only wanted 10 and not 25? I found that appalling.
She offered the thing. She gives him the
I
check.
thought you got off cheap on that one. You know, I think Ray could ask for a little more.
That's what a cruise cost.
And by the way, Larry, you look so like Sam Kinison right now. I just can't believe it.
This is Dean Butler, of course, who was Almanzo in Little House of the Prairie, which is now on Netflix. I just saw all this stuff there, so congratulations,
Well,
Dean.
it's
And he's
on
married
TikTok,
to
it's on
Catherine.
iTunes, it's on Amazon Prime, it's
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's around. It's really around. Thank you for including me in your 90210 Christmas
It's a party.
celebration.
It's a party. And I also knew that way we could get Felice. I kind of felt, I have to be honest. I did that. But we still love Catherine on the show. And, you know, she
Nice
means a
to
lot to
see you,
the fans.
Catherine.
Thank you. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun.
Jamie, what was it like doing this episode? And I just want to let everybody know that Jamie normally would sing with us today, but he's really under the weather, and it's really,
I'm
really
a little
appreciate,
under the weather.
yeah,
A
you
little
really
under the
appreciate you coming on. And just
You got it. Last time we did, I busted the guitar out, and that was fun. And I would love to do that again. I'm just got a little head cold right now, but I remember shooting that scene because that pumpkin patch Christmas tree farm was located right down the street from my actual house. And I loved when we shot there because it was, I could roll out of bed and be there in like 2 minutes. It was right there.
Nice.
And I remember that scene, and I rewatched it yesterday to just kind of like familiarize myself with it again. And yeah, that was not one of Ray's proudest moments, but then he kind of redeemed himself later. You know?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's the twist.
This is the Christmas tree lot that you were referring to. Jill Hankel
Right.
sent me a bunch of really cool set photos. Much appreciated. Okay, Catherine, you got a lot of explaining to do here. Buying off.
Just trying to do the best for my daughter.
All right. Now you try to buy off Ray. When you see this, are you like, okay, this is in line for what Felice would try to do?
You know, looking at these things again, I'm just appalled. Appalled at the police. I mean, she was just the worst. Let's face it.
Well, obtuse is the way, you know, when I watch it, I'm like, wow, how does this, who wrote this for her?
You're looking at the, you're looking at
Jessica. There must be some sort of kind of glee when you're writing something like this for someone to be so horrible.
Oh,
you know, I mean, horrible and trying not to be horrible.
You mean you're basically
horrible.
saying that we presented a conservative as a horrible person? I don't understand that.
Well played. Yeah.
Is that what she was, a conservative? That's how you frame this? She was a conservative?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know in the seasons before, she was outspoken against a lot of what someone at the time might call progressive issues.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's where I enjoyed very much writing the character.
But she was
had great
judgmental,
arguments,
but she was judgmental. That was the whole thing
Yes.
about Elise. I mean,
yeah, and I think very image conscious.
And we do then show the other side of her. You know, we have, especially, you know, I know we covered that the Rose Parade stuff where we, like all true, people, everyone's somewhat of a hypocrite. We reveal that in her, and and we always win her back, especially at Christmas time, because Christmas, of course, was her daughter's birthday.
Yes,
so it was always a charged time.
And you let her be sort of anti-Semitic.
Hold on.
No anti-Semitism from Roses.
Wait, hold on.
You don't talk about that?
No, we can. We're going to. But let me ask.
Chuck is just disavowing any involvement in that story. He had already left the show. And Larry and I were left to do that.
Everything is beautiful in its own way.
All right, we'll get to it in 1 second. For Jamie, Kristen McIsaac wants to know, what was your favorite scene with Tori?
Well, I think in that episode, for sure, it was the opening scene where we share that kind of long kiss, which makes me very uncomfortable. And she comes in and kind of breaks us up. And yeah, I thought that was a nice little scene. Nice way to open it up for Ray and Donna.
Yeah, very good stuff. Lisa wants to know, Jamie, will you give me a shout out? That's Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, now, Larry, the question about this season 7 debacle. Felice comes in and she's a little bit even more salty than usual on this Christmas Eve.
Well, to set it up, I mean, they're trying to, David and Don are getting back together, but David's kind of come off a thing where he's been, questioning his sanity. Basically, his mother was mentally ill, and I think, in our minds, the mother now, Felice, looks at the possibility that a daughter might be marrying someone, maybe even having children with someone who is passing on some bad mojo. And she does what she does, and within that, it's just her whole judgmental thing. She comes to a condo and she's so rude. What the kids think is, they think, well, what if we invite like a double date? Like Mel and Jackie have gotten back together. They're not even married, but they've gotten back together. They're living in Mel's condo. And now Dr. Martin and Felice, coming out of their palatial home in, I assume, Bel Air, come visit them. And it's just great. You going to show a clip of that? Or?
I don't have the clip. Todd
Oh, my God.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. We'll talk about it the show.
Anyway, there are some dog whistles that seem, a little bit Semitic oriented, but it doesn't really have to be. I mean, I don't think it was on the top of our list, but it came with it.
But I mean, do you know how tortured she is over? I mean, he watches these scenes, and I've never seen torture. She doesn't really get bothered by the work too much ever. But when she watches these scenes, it's just like it's grim. And she's like, how do I come off like this?
Stop.
She's a memorable character, very memorable.
Yeah. It's always good to play the bad guy. It's always fun to play the bad guy.
Very true. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
Someone has to do it.
Memorable.
She did it well.
Jamie, there's a lot of really nice stuff though in that episode, with you and Tori, and there's, the stuff with the getting your mom the cruise. Larry kind of mentioned all that and whatnot.
Right. I was just going to say, there was some great moments with Tori, but I think there was some really great moments with Caroline McWilliams, with Tori, with myself. That was just such a nice episode for her. And when I watched it yesterday, it really brought back a lot of kind of just nice memories working with her, and she was great, just great. I thought it was a great episode for her.
Because she was not in any way a redneck. She had been married to Michael Keaton and kind of lived a star's life. So she really was acting there. I always admired that about Luann. We're talking about Carolyn McWilliams, who died way too young.
Way too young.
But I forgot the scene where she goes out shopping with Donna.
Yeah.
Like we put them together. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We always
Nice
talk about
episode,
your music, Jamie, but your acting is phenomenal too. And I think the work just speaks for itself. When you looked back on this episode, all good memories? Do you think everything still holds up with this?
I totally do. I watched it with my 15-year-old daughter yesterday.
Wow.
And just to kind of come full circle like that, I have 3 daughters. I live with 3 teenage young women right now. And I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but 2 of them were out. And so I watched it with her, and it was just nice to watch that. And she was engaged. She loved it. And she said, "Dad, that brown corduroy jacket, I think it's hanging downstairs." It is. It's hanging in the room downstairs. She's like, "I wear that jacket." So
that's really amazing.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
All right, we're going to move the show along. We have a couple of surprises. I guess Melanie has a surprise for me, and then we have a surprise for everybody. But Jamie and Catherine, thank you so much for stopping in here and spending some time with us.
Nice to see you.
And Dean as well.
Nice to see you.
Merry Christmas. Bye,
Merry
Jamie.
Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks, Pete.
You
Great
got it,
to
bro.
see everybody.
Good
Take
to
care.
see you, man. All right, later, guys. All right.
Dean was moondoggy on New Gidget for me for 44
Oh,
and a half
I
hours.
wondered how you knew each other. And
Yeah.
Kathleen and Catherine, she grew up in Laguna Beach, which is as California as you can possibly be. She went to Laguna Beach.
When I
High.
heard they were together, I went, Dean is a lucky man.
He's great. Okay, Melanie, do you want to do whatever your surprise is for me?
Yes.
Do you have any more
Yes,
tips? I don't know where to go. All right, let's see.
Okay. So this is my first time doing this screen sharing thing. So let's see how it goes. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
Got that. Get ready for it. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. Oh God.
So you're saying, okay.
Okay.
Oh, God. Kathleen giving you the first time.
All right. Let's see. But it's playing. It's playing, Melanie. We can't see it, so you got to pause it and then pause it.
Okay. Hold on.
We lost you. We lost.
I don't know what's happening. Okay. Shoot.
Hey. Do you know we have a Patreon?
It's not stopping. Okay.
You got to do a share screen.
Okay. Let me try that again.
Hey, do you know about? Oh my God, Larry! How about this happened?
Merry Christmas, Donna. Happy New Year to all. It's Garrett Slan. Wishing everyone a wonderful 2021. I know I will after I shave.
Ooh, thank you, David Bow.
Okay.
You got to do the share screen. You good?
Share audio.
Okay. Now let me share it to this thing first.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, but it's all the way at the end, so you got to scroll it back.
Okay.
God, she looks so incredible.
She really does. Sorry, the surprise was supposed to be a little more seamless, but hey.
Hi, Pete. It's Kathleen. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hope you have a great show. I just wanted to say thank you for all your support this year and for all the hard work that you put into your show. I know that the fans really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Hope your family has a great one. And here's to 2021. It's going to be a good one. Bye.
Oh my God, that was really sweet of her.
Wow.
Oh
man.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh my God, she's the sweetest.
Okay, next week we're going to be talking about our favorite moments of the podcast. I wonder what Pete's going to pick.
He's not going to pick that. It looks like Sam Kinison.
No.
It gets me all emotional. Okay, now listen, we couldn't end this and do this Christmas show without this person. So they couldn't come on live for some reasons, but we just wanted to share this with everybody.
To our cast and crew, happy Christmas and have a good one. And that's it.
That's it.
It's so sweet.
I love you so much.
Yeah, the Rosen goodbye print in the background.
Yes, it was. That was Mr.
Let's show some Nat highlights.
Get him the special, but that's it. No substitutions.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Every time I get involved with a woman, it just falls apart.
Oh, come on, Brendan. Girls throw themselves at you all the time. Another one will come along soon enough.
Hi, Nat.
Listen, I already tried to help 2 lost souls today, okay? And I don't know if they're scamming me or what, but this woman shows up on my doorstep, claims she's the mother of Jack McKay's long-lost daughter.
But if there's ever one night of the year that you can give a stranger a benefit of the doubt, this has got to be it. Sometimes people just need time alone.
Thanks, Nat. I was hoping for something a little more illuminating from you.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
What a beautiful guy. Yeah. Nice stuff, guys. Listen, I just wanted to say before we wrap here, 2020 has been a very weird year for a lot of people. And while we're all celebrating Christmas, there's a lot of people maybe this year that have some missing faces, at the table side this year. And if this show has done a little bit of something for some of you, I'm so grateful and thankful to that, and glad that we've been able to put a little bit of a sunshine or a shine or a smile on your faces. Reliving this show with all of you guys has been incredible. And, we've got quite some more coming up in 21 and all that stuff. So stay with us. But I wanted to particularly mention, Darren Martin, who lost his mom. And I know Larry had that happen as well this year. So we're here for you guys. This show will always be here for you. And that's sort of what it is. Charles, any final thoughts on Christmas and 90210?
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Because we got, why? Because we got a vacation.
That's
We're
right.
out of production.
The only time off.
Time off. I like
Happy
that.
Hanukkah.
Yeah, that last meal before the break was always very special. That big crew meal before the last meal before going home for the break. It'd be hard to get people to go back to work after that meal.
I bet.
Anyway, guys, this has been really great. I'm sorry to Todd and Jillian never wound up popping in. We just did.
Yeah, we want to give props to Todd and Julian.
Yeah, but Jillian and Todd, thank you for all the hard work that you guys have done. Melanie, that
Our editor and the voice and the promo voice of the show. Thank you very much.
Jillian, she does all the voiceovers and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, to our friends all around the world who are going to watch this tomorrow morning and weren't watching live, and it was good to see them.
Right, Feliz Navidad.
Before you leave, Charles, Karen, Larry, and Jessica. Well, hang on, wait a minute. Look who showed up: Jillian and Todd.
Perfect.
Todd, all right. In person.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Yeah, very good.
Jillian. People are going to be surprised to hear your voice now because she does all of our promos. It's funny. I was thinking about this when this podcast first came to be. The first person outside of Charles and Larry that I talked to about it was Jillian. And I said, I need you to do some voiceover.
We need to hear her speak now.
Yes.
Hello.
You don't sound like the person on the tape right there.
Did you train your voice? Did you train?
Yeah, I do voiceover work. I have a day job. I work in celebrity news, so the cast of 90210 is no stranger to me. We write about them all the time, but I've been doing voiceover for about 3 years now, and Pete and I met back in a long time ago when I was like little baby Jillian right out of college. We were out to dinner with my family, and Pete sat next to us, and my mom and I just started talking to him, and so friendship over a meal. It was nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Mesa Bobby Flay's Mesa Grill in New York City. That's where.
Oh wow!
Just happened to run into.
Where's Todd right now?
Where am I?
Yeah, where are you?
I'm home.
Where's home to you?
Where's home?
Yeah, I live in Mansfield, Texas. It's right outside of Fort Worth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's very awesome. Well, we appreciate. I know all of us here appreciate all the hard work that you've done on the show.
Amazing
it's incredible. Todd, great stuff. Charles, anything about the clips tonight? Do you want to go there? Or?
Oh, it was terrific. We couldn't put all of them in. There was so many. I love clip shows, so this was just fun. And we had some good ones. I love them. You don't have to do much.
All right.
Yeah, they were all fly. I mean, we got some confused on some. One of the Todd and I know, even though we didn't, we get confused on numbers, but they were beautiful. And Todd, you did them turned around so quickly. Thank you so much. As always.
It felt super deluxe. It felt super deluxe.
The Andrew and Jesse clips. I don't know what happened. It's like putting a puzzle together without the picture.
That's all right.
Okay, different.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna say goodbye to Todd and Jillian. Jillian, thank you and Todd for both.
Oh, wait a second. Can't I just hear Jillian's voice as the character?
As the on-screen voice.
As the 90210 gal.
Sure. I mean, like Pete kind of lets me go crazy with the girl stuff. So it's so fun. And I just love 90210 and the fans are amazing. So thank you so much. And have a Merry friggin' Christmas.
Yes!
Amazing. It doesn't get any better than that.
Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up, Jillian?
I grew up in Toms River, New Jersey.
Oh, I know.
So I live in California right now. But yeah, I was a Jersey girl until about 8 years ago.
Nice. And I followed you. So there you go. All right. We're going to say goodbye to them. And then listen, guys, this is great. I was going to say before we left, you guys have touched our lives through this time. And thank you for your time. Thank you for the work that you did on this show, writing these things, and to Chip and everybody else that we could include in that story, and the actors and the crew and everybody that put everything in it. There's a heavy commitment, and that work shows all these years later. So much thank you. And I am not going home. I told my wife today, I was like, 2020 has been a very interesting year. I've spent most of my holidays with Charles and Larry. That's fine. And Karen, which is
you're our young friend.
That's it. I love it. Yeah.
It's so
and
cute.
Melanie as well. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been the Super Deluxe Christmas Show. We will be back next week where we're going to talk about the best of the podcast. This is going to right up Charles's alley, loving a clip show. We're doing another clip show.
Yes.
Get the clip. Todd, get the clip.
Happy holidays, everyone.
All right.
Bye, Melanie.
Bye.
Bye. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
I'll see you.
Thanks, everybody.